Chapter 11:17. Very quickly, they came to a remote place. There was almost no one here, only a lonely treasure hall sat at the side. They entered the treasure hall. Jiang Feng glanced at the direction of the treasure hall. The 6 swordsmen just happened to rush in. These 6 people's movement technique is quite good. Li Fan also saw it and exclaimed in admiration. Is this the time to praise the 6 of them? Jiang Feng could not help but look at Li Fan in disdain. Furthermore, how can the experts trained by Murong Villa be bad? Who does Murong Villa think they are? Li Fan curled his lips. Although they are little overlords, you cannot look down on Murong Villa. Jiang Feng intentionally reminded Li Fan, the #1 villa in the world, hidden dragons and crouching tigers, experts as numerous as the clouds. Alright, whatever you say. Li Fan did not refute. His attention was on the treasure hall. It was unknown who this treasure hall was for. It was a bit shabby. It should have been built for a long time. Before the others could arrive, Li Fan and Jiang Feng rushed in together with them. The treasure hall was not small. There was a statue erected there. There were some incense sticks placed in front of it. The saintess stood in front of the statue, looking at the 6 men in front of her with vigilance. The 6 of you, how dare you barge into my demonic cult's sacred hall? The moment Li Fan and the rest entered, they heard the saintess scolding them. Sacred hall? So this is the true God's hall? Li Fan glanced at the huge statue and couldn't figure out what was going on. This statue was wearing a red robe, its right hand was hanging by its leg, its left hand was placed in front of it, there was a scroll attached to it. Saintess, you cannot escape. The 6 swordsmen sneered. Surrender! My demonic cult has tens of thousands of experts. They will be here soon. Just a bunch of mobs, and they can't save you. The 6 swordsmen were very pleased. There are reinforcements? The saintess suddenly realized, you despicable fellows, you dare to come here while the cult leader is not here. What cult leader? Just a small fry. The 6 swordsmen sneered. Demonic cult saintess, quickly hand over the 9 truths important technique, otherwise go to the Yellow Springs Road and save a place for your cult leader. You wish. The saintess said while holding a beast-head sword, this book, I will not give it to you. Seems like you are tired of living. The 6 swordsmen took out their swords, while the saintess suddenly shouted at Li and Li Fan. You two, come and help me. The 6 swordsmen turned around and realized that there were 2 more devil cult disciples following them. He was a little surprised. Second bro, third bro, you two kill them. However, they did not take the 2 of them seriously. The 2nd and 3rd swordsmen immediately turned around and pointed their swords at Li Fan and Jiang Feng. The 2 swordsmen instantly turned around and pointed their swords at Li Fan and Jiang Feng. Li Fan used crane hand and slapped the sword away. Jiang Feng, on the other hand, raised 2 fingers and blocked the other sword. How can this be? The 2 swordsmen exclaimed in unison. Second, third, what are you doing? Why are you not doing anything? The 6 swordsmen turned around at the same time and realized that their 2 brothers were at a loss for what to do. They were immediately surprised. There is actually such an expert in the demonic cult? Get out of the sacred hall. Li Fan pretended to be a demonic cult disciple and leaped forward. He did not use any martial arts, just a simple eagle claw, grabbing the head of one of the 6 swordsmen. Seal him. The 6 swordsmen were all top experts. They released their 6 swords and locked them around Li Fan, trying to drain Li Fan's strength. But Li Fan had fought with these 6 swordsmen before and had already entered the realm of a generation's grandmaster. His body exploded with a circle of chi, causing the 6 swords to fly away. The 6 swordsmen trembled. They could not believe that such a thing would happen. This sword formation was a secret sword technique that could only be cultivated by 6 people with different bodies of one mind. But at this time, it was actually so easily broken? He is just a demonic cult disciple. Where did his chi come from? The 6 swordsmen could not believe their eyes. At this time, Jiang Feng appeared behind them. He no longer used his finger sword, but pulled out a sword from his waist and walked among the swordsmen. Damn it! The 6 swordsmen felt something was wrong. They immediately retracted their swords and blocked in front of them. Jiang Feng was already standing behind the 6 swordsmen with his sword in hand. The swords of the 6 swordsmen were all bounced away. A thin line of blood appeared on their necks. Blood sprayed out and splattered on the floor of the sacred hall. The 6 swordsmen all knelt on the floor with a thud. Their eyes were still filled with shock. Not only them, Li Fan was also somewhat surprised. This elegant sword technique was indeed quite powerful. When did Jiang Feng learn such a sword technique? But he felt that this sword technique seemed to be lacking something. Could it be that this was the reason why he wanted to obtain the 9 truths technique? No one would reject becoming stronger, especially Jiang Feng and Li Fan. Although these 6 people are strong, they are a bunch of retards. Jiang Feng ridiculed. The holy maiden looked at the 2 of them and rolled her eyes. No one knew what she was thinking. The 2 of you have done well. The holy maiden suddenly opened her mouth and said to them, but only one of you can receive my blessing. As for who is qualified, you can decide for yourselves. Li Fan and Jiang Feng were speechless. The 2 of them had shamelessly decided to join hands. This alliance was destroyed by the holy maiden's words in the blink of an eye. Third brother, the friendship between us should be able to withstand the test, right? Jiang Feng immediately said, why don't you give this opportunity to older brother? How can I do that? The holy maiden's blessing is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Li Fan grinned, why don't you wait for the next opportunity, second brother? Older brother is getting old and can't wait anymore. Jiang Feng sighed, but we are as close as brothers. No matter which one of us gets the opportunity, it won't be a loss, right? That's right. Why don't you give it to me? Li Fan would not give this opportunity to Jiang Feng. His purpose of coming here was to obtain the 9 truths technique. Getting close to the dragon lady was his only chance. Third brother, since this is the case, we can only compete. As Jiang Feng spoke, he had already appeared in front of Li Fan. At the same time, the sword in his hand had already slashed towards Li Fan's neck. Such a fast sword. Even with Li Fan's eyesight, he was not able to see it clearly. But the moment his opponent raised his hand, he had already used his sharp senses to take a step back. He almost stuck to the edge of the sword and hid behind it. The sword had already shaved off some of Li Fan's bangs. Chapter 11:18. As the saying goes, a scholar who has been away for 3 days will be looked at in a new light. Jiang Feng has only been away from Li Fan for a month, yet his strength has improved so much. It seems like he also had a fortuitous encounter. Li Fan reminded himself to not look down on the heroes of the world. Third brother, I'm sorry. This opportunity is mine. Jiang Feng held his sword and kept attacking Li Fan. His shoulder did not move at all. It was hard to judge his sword style. It could be called the shadowless sword. Li Fan kept dodging. He relied on his intuition. Every time Jiang Feng attacked him, the hairs there would tremble, allowing Li Fan to prepare in advance. He trusted his intuition very much. Martial arts was like this. Intuition and thinking were equal parts. As expected of the little tyrant. Such powerful dodging techniques. Jiang Feng ridiculed, coward. I don't want to call you little tyrant in the future. Call me little bastard? Li Fan did not fall for it. He knew that Jiang Feng was purposely trying to provoke him. Jiang Feng was good at all kinds of schemes. As long as he could win, he could use unconventional moves. Li Fan would not fall for it. As he dodged, he retorted. But you still can't beat me. Then you are a man who is worse than a tortoise? Before you scold me, good second brother, you should take a piss and look at yourself. Third brother, you might not believe it, but the current me is stronger than you. Jiang Feng suddenly pulled out his sword. The sword chi instantly wrapped around Li Fan's body, sucking him in. Li Fan's red robe was shredded, revealing the sportswear he was wearing inside. You are just a dog that relies on others to survive. How can you say such words? Li Fan also took a horse stance and struck out a palm at Jiang Feng. Qilin palm. A powerful palm pressure exploded. Jiang Feng raised his sword and blocked in front of him. The palm wind collided with his sword chi. Jiang Feng's body was pushed back. He quickly steadied himself and stood up again. Third brother, you. Before Jiang Feng could finish his sentence, he felt a sudden impact on the back of his neck. His vision went black and he fainted, sprawled on the ground. Follow me. The saintess stood behind him and lowered her hand. You? Li Fan was a little confused. What was going on? Cut the crap. Hurry up and follow me. As the saintess spoke, she turned around and walked into the depths of the temple. Li Fan felt a little strange, but the opportunity was right in front of him, and he could not let it go. Li Fan followed the saintess into the depths of the temple. The two of them passed through a small hidden door and seemed to have arrived at a place similar to a secret room. Li Fan followed behind the saintess. He felt that this saintess was a little mysterious. Why are you helping me? Li Fan walked behind the saintess. Do you know me? Little Overlord Li Fan. How many people in the martial world don't know about him? The saintess didn't even turn her head. She just walked ahead, but there was a hint of ridicule in her voice. Since you know me, why are you still helping me? Li Fan became vigilant, and the true qi in his body also rose. Don't worry. I don't have any ill intentions towards you. The saintess walked all the way to the front, but she encountered a dead end. She stretched out her hand and pressed a few times on the wall. A door slowly opened on the wall, and the saintess walked in. Li Fan stood in front of the door, a little hesitant. What? You don't dare to come in? The saintess's voice reached Li Fan's ears. Is there anything that I, the little overlord, do not dare to do? Li Fan felt that the saintess was very mysterious. Regardless of whether it was good or bad, he had to go in and take a look. He wrapped his true qi and walked through the door. The moment he entered, he realized that it seemed to be a girl's room. There were pink decorations everywhere. The wallpaper was pink, the bedsheets were pink, and even the floor was decorated with pink. Welcome. This is my room. The saintess sat on the edge of the bed and patted the space beside her. Come here. What is the blessing that you are talking about? Li Fan suddenly felt a little nervous. Our omnipotent little overlord is actually afraid as well? The saintess covered her mouth and chuckled. Please conduct yourself with dignity. Li Fan frowned. I am not interested in women that I do not know. Is that so? Then why would the famous little overlord come to this little girl's room? The saintess crossed her arms and looked at Li Fan provocatively. Then there is no need to talk nonsense. Li Fan raised his hand and walked toward the saintess. What? You want to kill me just because of a disagreement? The saintess raised her head and revealed her beautiful and clean neck. Come, aim here. You can kill me in one move. Li Fan blinked his eyes. What is going on? This woman is poisonous. Come kill me. Weren't you very powerful earlier? The saintess seemed to be provoking Li Fan. You think I don't dare? Li Fan was stunned. His fingers directly grabbed the saintess's neck and locked it. As long as Li Fan was willing, he could easily break the saintess's neck. Kill me. The saintess's voice did not contain the slightest bit of fear. If you kill me, I want to see where you can find the 9 Truths Secrets art. Li Fan frowned. This woman actually guessed his motive? How did you know? Little Overlord, if you did not come here for the 9 Truths Secrets art, could it be that you are trying to win my heart? This woman seemed to be a little smart. The 9 Truths Secrets art is indeed here. However, can you let go of my neck? The saintess leisurely asked. This is a little uncomfortable. Li Fan released the saintess's neck. This woman was clearly very weak, and her life was in his hands. However, it was as if she was leading the way. He was truly unhappy. Speak, where is the 9 Truths Secrets art? After all, it is the secret manual of our devil sect. Do you think you can just casually obtain it? The saintess rubbed her neck while looking at Li Fan with a smile in her eyes. I have to pay a price, right? What do you want? Li Fan raised his eyebrows. Do you want money? I don't have much use for money. The saintess reminded Li Fan, our devil sect is quite rich, and we are self-sufficient. Then what do you want? The devil sect is in danger. I want you to help me chase these people away. The saintess requested. You are dreaming. That is impossible. Li Fan rejected her without hesitation. Since that is the case, then let me and the 9 Truths Secrets art disappear together. The saintess sighed. I have hidden that book in the underground village, and I have to check it once every week. If I do not go, a week later, that book will be burnt to ashes by the mechanism. From then on, the secret regarding the martial god's true body will completely disappear from this world. You are threatening me. That's right. Chapter 11:19. Hearing the saintess's order, Li Fan frowned. This feeling of being used by others is really uncomfortable. How about it? This is our deal. The saintess said, you protect our devil sex headquarters, and I will use the 9 Truths secret technique as your reward. Little Overlord, aren't you a gold medal escort? How about it? Do you agree to this deal? That does sound like a deal. Li Fan pondered for a moment. However, if my martial art is exposed to them, I'm afraid it will be hard for me to survive in the future. Your reputation as a little overlord is not good to begin with. The saintess giggled. Now that things have come to a head, you have to cherish your feathers. In short, I don't want to be discovered. Li Fan said straightforwardly, this is my bottom line. You can use this. As the saintess spoke, she took out the beast head sword and handed it to Li Fan. Li Fan took it and looked at it carefully. He was somewhat surprised. For elephant's sword? Why do you have it? Since it belongs to our devil sect, I'll lend it to you for the time being. The saintess pointed at the sword. With this, they won't be able to discover your identity, right? That's a good idea, but I have a feeling that I'm being schemed against. Li Fan took the 4-elephant sword, feeling somewhat unhappy in his heart. How can that be? This is a business deal. The saintess emphasized, you are the escort of our company, and we are your clients. Furthermore, we can perfectly conceal our identity. Isn't this a perfect thing? How did you scheme so perfectly? Li Fan asked. This is not a scheme. I'm obviously helping you think of a solution. The saintess immediately said, I helped you solve your problem. Shouldn't you be thanking me for being such a good client? Li Fan silently held the 4-elephant sword. If you violate the contract, I will definitely massacre your devil sect. Don't worry, you're my insurance. I won't betray you. Without the slightest hesitation, the saintess stood up and walked in front of Li Fan, staring into his eyes. The oath I made with you, if you save my devil cult, I'll give you the 9 Truths important technique. If I tell even half a lie, may the great true God grant me a death riddled with thousands of holes. There's no time to lose. Let's go. Li Fan did not want to waste any more time. The most important thing now was to disperse those who came to attack the devil cult, and then take away the Jiuzhen Yao Shu. This way. Instead of following the previous path, the holy maiden pressed a button at the head of the bed. The bed slowly opened, revealing a path underground. You guys, can you hide people everywhere? In order to hide from the enemy, our holy church has dug many tunnels. As the holy maiden walked into the tunnel, she explained, you know how despicable those people from the righteous path are. There are so many kind-hearted people in our saint sect, but we are often bullied by them. So, we can only build these tunnels to protect ourselves. This fuck, Li Fan does not know how to vomit. Although there are many bad people in the righteous path, are the people from the devil cult kind? That would be too much. Especially this cunning holy maiden, she is not a good person. Where's your sect leader? Where did he go at such a crucial time? Li Fan is feeling a bit bored as he walks in the tunnel in the dark, so he casually asks. The great sect leader has a lot of things to do. The tunnel in front is even darker. The holy maiden takes out a fire starter and lights a torch on the wall beside her, holding it in her hand. The faint light from the fire illuminated her body. Li Fan feels that this holy maiden seems to be smiling. Believe me, you don't want to see him. In your heart, is he that strong? No matter where he is very strong. The holy maiden warns Li Fan, his heavenly devil technique has already been trained to the 8th level. When he reaches the 9th level, he will be invincible in the world. There are many strong people in this world. Li Fan does not believe the holy maiden's words. Also, what kind of technique is the heavenly devil technique? This is a technique created by our sect leader. The holy maiden is somewhat proud. Sect leader has fused 108 devil techniques, learning from each other's strengths to make up for his weaknesses, and finally fused them into this heavenly devil technique. Heavenly devil technique, sect leader Tong Tian. Li Fan smiles. Your sect leader is quite narcissistic. In short, you better not meet him. The holy maiden holds the torch and walks in front, as if her torch can not only dispel the darkness, but also dispel the dampness in the cave. I know you are very strong, but I do not wish for you to die. What? Li Fan didn't understand, but the saintess pointed forward. The exit is in front. The holy maiden brings Li Fan to the exit. In front of them is a huge stone door. The holy maiden reaches out her hand and pushes the stone door. No, it's a bit heavy. The holy maiden sighs. It seems that us girls are not strong enough. Let me do it. Li Fan knows that this girl is waiting for him to do it. He walks to the front, stretches out a hand, and pushes the stone door with a little force. The sunlight shines in through the gap, and it is somewhat dazzling. Li Fan pushes the door open completely, and the light instantly illuminates the dark tunnel. The sunlight is not bad. The holy maiden gently covers her brows with her hand, blocking the sunlight. I really hope that one day, I can also live under such sunlight. Then we can just move to the surface and live. The true God will fulfill our wish. The holy maiden's eyes are filled with devotion. Since that is the case, why don't you look for your true God for help, but come to me instead? Li Fan asks. I did. The holy maiden smiles. It is the true God who sent you to me. Li Fan is very speechless, not knowing how to explain this. This is a fucking coincidence. Who would know that he and the people from Murong Villa collide, and actually arrive at this place at the same time? You see, this is the true God's will. The holy maiden seems to see that Li Fan is somewhat displeased and adds, of course, it is also the God of armed escorts' will. For the sake of business, I will not lower myself to your level. Li Fan takes 2 deep breaths, adjusting his emotions. At this time, there are more and more people outside. Many hatchet men in Murong Villa uniforms, all carrying swords, walk toward the direction of the devil cult's main gate. And not only them, Li Fan sees more hatchet men approaching. People from the Sima family? Li Fan sees familiar uniforms. North Murong, South Sima, are they all here now? Li Fan sees people from 2 other families. One is wearing a yellow robe, the other is wearing a red coat, and the other is wearing a horse and a white monkey respectively. Ma family and Ho family? Other than the 2 big families in the north and south, there are 2 other big families in the Jianghu, slightly inferior, East Ma and West Ho. It seems that this time, Murong family plans to uproot the entire devil cult. Chapter 11:20. The people from the 4 major clans gathered here and sealed off the entrance of the devil cult. Li Fan took a glance and saw that the old gatekeeper had been killed in the gazebo. His corpse was lying by the window. The person from the Sima clan was a young master in his mid-20s. His hair was tied up in a bun and he was dressed in luxurious clothes. In his hand, he was carrying the symbolic dagger of the Sima clan. 9 swords of bliss. He wondered how this brother was practicing. The Ma clan and the Ho clan also sent their representatives. There were old and young people. Li Fan did not recognize any of them. The representative from the Murong clan caused Li Fan's eyes to shrink. Murong Ying. It was really her. This time, she came personally to attack the devil cult. The young master of the Sima clan was surrounding Murong Ying, trying his best to please her. You don't like her? The saintess's voice sounded in Li Fan's ears. The person you once loved the most is now a stranger. Don't talk nonsense. Li Fan snorted. She is not the person I love the most. Then who is the person you love the most? The saintess was curious. What does it have to do with you? I'm just curious. Can't we chat? Your devil cult's Lu Zhu. Can she do it? Li Fan said out of anger. But the saintess suddenly froze, as if she was really scared by him. Li Fan was immensely proud. Little guy, you want to fight with me? You're still too inexperienced. When I have a heavy taste, even I am afraid. The old man guarding the door? He's just an ordinary old man. The saintess looked at the gatekeeper who was lying by the window of the gazebo and sighed. 3 years ago, he was chased out by his family and had nowhere to go. Later, we took him in. Because he did not know martial arts, we let him guard the door. Since it's for his own good, you shouldn't let him join your devil cult. Li Fan said, this is a devil's den. Only the dead will live here. You're biased. The saintess curled her lips. Has our devil cult ever done anything unforgivable? How many places have you besieged? Li Fan sneered. For the sake of the 9 Buddha Sutra, you killed many people, didn't you? Is the dispute in the Jianghu unforgivable? The 9 Buddha Sutra should belong to the strong. Why can't we go and snatch it? The saintess had her own set of theories. Besides, hand it over obediently, and we won't kill you. Then what's the difference between you and these guys? Li Fan pointed at the 4 families that had set up camp in the distance. Them? The saintess sneered. Which one of them isn't here for the 9 Truths Essence technique? But I guarantee that all of them will say that they are here to eradicate the so-called demonic cult. You're right. This is the Jianghu. Li Fan nodded. They're all people angling for fame. Aren't you the same? Otherwise, why wouldn't you dare to show your face? I'm too handsome. I'm afraid they'll fall in love with me. Li Fan said as he put on the red robe that the saintess handed over. The saintess was speechless. Miss Murong, when do you think we should attack? The Sima family's young master stood in the graveyard. Behind him, there was a maid holding a parasol that hit his head. Look, it's still early. Why don't we tour around here for a while before going to crusade against the devil cult? How about it? The devil cult has not been eradicated. How can we tour around? Murong Ing looked at the Sima young master with disdain. Young Master Sima is really in a good mood. But I don't have the mood. If you want to play, go ahead. Miss Murong is indeed worthy of being the leader of the martial world. You're the model of the martial world. The Sima young master was also thick-skinned. His expression was normal as he continued to flatter, it's worth learning from. When we crusade against the devil cult, I will definitely kill a few more devil bastards. It's good that young Master Sima has this intention. Murong Ing looked at the entrance of the devil cult. This devil cult is very deep. I wonder what happened to the people who explored the way in front. Why don't we kill our way in? Since they are just a motley crew, how can they be compared to my 4 major families? The Sima young master immediately volunteered, I can lead the way in front. This underground world is deep and deep like a maze. If we enter rashly, we will only fall into the devil cult's trap. Murong Ing was very rational. I don't want too many casualties in this crusade. Miss Murong, aren't you thinking too highly of these motley crew? Don't look down on your opponent. After saying that, Murong Ing did not want to bother with the Sima young master anymore. At this time, a dirty-faced servant of Murong came out from the tunnel. Miss, it's so dark down there. I can't see anything. Furthermore, there are many secret tunnels. I don't even know where to go. As expected. Murong Ing nodded her head. The 6 swordsmen are still inside. I'm afraid they have already been killed. 6 swordsmen? Those 6 experts? The Sima young master seemed to have seen the 6 swordsmen before. The few of them have such high martial arts. How could they die down here? I think they are just lost, right? Murong Ing clearly did not want to bother with this retarded young master. She looked at the direction of the tunnel and said, send 2 more teams down to take a look. I don't think there is a need for that. At this moment, an elder from the Ma family walked over and gave his suggestion. I had already expected such a thing. That's why I prepared a few treasures. What kind of treasures? Murong Ing asked. It's them. The Ma family elder waved his hand. A servant carried over a plate with a few black cans on it. What is this? Poison gas bomb. When Murong Ing heard that, she looked at the Ma family elder. It's not appropriate, right? Alliance leader, the people down there are all snakes and rats. The Ma family elder's gaze was fierce. So what if they die? It doesn't matter. Right. The Sima young master nodded his head. This way we can save some energy. I also think it is feasible. A skinny man from the whole family came over. He looked at the unfathomably deep tunnel. It is very dangerous down there. There is no need to die for nothing. Throw some poison gas bomb down and poison those evil bastards to death. Let them know how powerful we are. Come, this young master will throw one first. Although the Sima young master said that, he did not dare to stretch out his hand. Instead, he ordered a thug to walk over and pick up the poison gas bomb. Wait a minute. At this moment, two figures slowly walked over from the side. Everyone looked over. It was two evil cult people walking over. One of them was wearing the clothes of the evil cult Holy Maiden. Great, it is the evil cult Holy Maiden. The Sima young master clapped his hands and laughed. This is truly wearing out iron shoes in fruitless search, finding it by chance. Evil cult Holy Maiden, quickly hand over Geo. Quickly die. My apologies. The Holy Maiden bowed towards them. This time it will not be as you wish. Lissy go. Li Fan blinked his eyes. Are they talking about me? Chapter 11:21. Zhang San Li Si. The Saintess winked at Li Fan and sent a voice transmission. Isn't it nice to call you Li Si? Li Fan pursed his lips and ignored the Saintess. What a lousy name. Do you think you can stop the 4 great clans with just a member of the cult? Young Master Sima burst into laughter. Ridiculous, ridiculous. The holy war is imminent, and the pugilistic world is in turmoil. Li Fan walked over slowly with the 4-elephant sword in hand, leaving a footprint on the ground with every step he took. The martial artists present were secretly shocked. What a strong internal strength. He doesn't seem to be old, but why is his internal strength so strong? Apart from Li Wei, there's actually another expert in the cult? Li Fan's gaze only fell on Murong Ying. The way she looked at him was filled with unfamiliarity. How did the Saintess discover his identity when even Murong Ying did not recognize him? Although he had spoken to Jiang Feng during the fight, most of it was done through voice transmission. His disguise after the aberration bone swap should have been perfect. The 4 great villas are here to kill your fellow martial artists instead of fighting against the Holy War. What a joke! Holy War plan? What does that have to do with us? Young Master Sima burst into laughter. You're really stupid. We're all from the government. Which of the 4 great villas doesn't have the support of the government? We're part of the Holy War plan, and it's our duty to encircle and annihilate the scum of the pugilistic world. Along, Ahu, kill this person for me. I don't want to dirty my hands. Yes. 2 men in the Sima family's battle uniform jumped out. One of them was tall, while the other was short. One was fat, while the other was skinny. They formed a stark contrast. The 2 of them had been with the Sima family for some time, and they seemed to be loyal. Kid, you're unlucky to have met us. The fat man, Long, sneered at Li Fan with a knife in his hand. I'll take your head and report to our young master. Don't snatch the credit from me. Skinny Ahu immediately glared at him. He's my prey. As he spoke, the thin man held 2 sharp knives and looked at Li Fan. He even stuck out his tongue and licked the tips of his knives. Li Fan muttered to himself. Was he not afraid of cutting his tongue? This kind of pretentious act was quite dangerous. Be careful. The Saintess reminded Li Fan, Long and who have some fame in the Jianghu. The 2 of them used to be a famous evil duo. Several small sects were massacred because they offended these 2 brothers. That's all in the past. The 2 of us now focus on serving the Sima family. Long said proudly, the Sima family is where we brothers belong. That's right, I'm willing to do my utmost for young Master Sima until my death. Skinny Ahu nodded. We'll use your head to thank young Master Sima first. As he spoke, he suddenly pounced towards Li Fan. The 2 sharp knives in his hands were like praying mantis knives as they slashed towards Li Fan. His knife technique is indeed very fast, but it is still incomparable to Jiang Feng. Li Fan only stretched out 3 fingers and pinched the blade of skinny Ahu's knife and pulled it to the right. Clang. Ahu's 2 knives collided and bounced off each other. And Li Fan pulled out the 4-elephant sword with his right hand and slashed at Ahu. A ferocious white tiger rushed out and bit off Ahu's neck in one bite. It tore apart his body and then rushed into the air. Oh! Seeing this scene, Fatty Arlong's eyes were about to turn red. He raised his shovel knife and sword into the sky. Then, he dropped down from the sky and chopped down at Li Fan's head. Li Fan brandished his sword at the sky. A scarlet vermilion bird soared into the sky and spread its wings like sharp blades, directly cutting Arlong in half in midair. Blood splattered everywhere. Arlong's body was still burning. It fell in front of young Master Sima, scaring him into taking 2 steps back. For Elephant's sword, Murong Ing looked at Li Fan as her pupils slightly contracted. I didn't expect that your devil sect has such a godly sword. Isn't it a pity to give it to the devil sect? To young Master Sima, the death of 2 of his proud subordinates was like the death of 2 ants. Although he was a little shocked, he quickly recovered. With his hands behind his back, he looked at Li Fan and spoke with assurance. This godly sword is worthy of this young master's identity. Come, who will help me snatch this godly sword? Young Master Sima asked, and 7 to 8 Sima family's thugs immediately walked out from behind him. These thugs were all Sima family's elites. At this moment, they were all fighting for merit as they quickly approached Li Fan. Swish, swish, swish. As soon as these people made their move, they threw out a few hook claws. In the pugilistic world, there were also people who used hook claws as hidden weapons. The hook claws were as sharp as an eagle's claw. It could directly hook onto a person's head and rip off the enemy's head. Ordinary pugilistic people would disdain to use this kind of vicious hidden weapon. However, the thugs in the family were different. Their goal was to carry out various missions for the family, and one of them was to kill people. The Sima family's hook claws were even more sinister. At the end of the hook claws, there were many small sawteeth. As long as the hook claws hooked onto a person's body, the person's flesh would be torn apart. Looking at the hooks flying towards him, Li Fan did not bat an eyelid and continued to swing his sword. A huge black tortoise covered Li Fan's body, protecting him and blocking those hook claws. What? Young Master Sima was shocked again. This godly sword is actually so powerful? Azure dragon, white tiger, vermilion bird, black tortoise. Murong Ing wore a black qipao. She crossed her arms and stood there, staring at the godly sword in Li Fan's hand. As for the old man from Ma family, he seemed to have a good understanding of this sword as he explained from the side. Legend has it that this is a godly sword created by Mount Hua Hermit. It has the might of the 4 sacred beasts. Its original name was 4 Sacred Sword, but it was later changed to 4-Elephant Sword. There are even rumors that if you have the 4-Elephant Sword, you can have the entire pugilistic world. However, this sword disappeared on Mount Hua. Unexpectedly, it is in the hands of the evil cult. Excuse me, our evil cult still has some treasures. The Saintess seemed to be a little happy. Regarding this sword, there are some other meanings that you guys don't understand. Who cares as long as you bring it over? Young Master Sima was very happy. Today is really not bad. I can even obtain a godly sword. You are thinking too much. Li Fan held the 4-elephant sword. Even if I break it, I will not give it to you. Going against this young master? Young Master Sima pointed at Li Fan. Come, whoever can take down this guy, I, young Master Sima, will heavily reward. Go. Kill him. Even more Sima family servants rushed up, and their hooks and claws filled the sky as they hooked towards Li Fan. Chapter 11:22. At this moment, Sima family's prestige was completely displayed. The claws that filled the sky seemed to want to tear Li Fan into pieces. However, Li Fan stood there with the black tortoise protecting him, causing the surrounding claws to bounce away. At the same time, Li Fan waved his sword and a row of white tigers flew out. Each of them was the size of a real tiger and all of them pounced towards the people in front of them. The white tigers formed by the sword chi were exceptionally ferocious as they unceasingly tore the bodies of the Sima family servants. More white tiger sword chi flew out unceasingly. The number of white tiger sword chi was not inferior to the opponent's servants. Young Master Sima was very unhappy as he angrily scolded, "You bunch of useless trash. You can't even deal with an evil cult dregs? What's the use of me raising you? Leave it to me." The whole family's skinny man suddenly pulled out a black wooden stick and slammed it on the ground. His entire body moved like lightning as he rapidly approached Li Fan. This whole family's skinny man seemed to be very powerful. Holding the black wooden stick, he arrived in front of Li Fan in a blink of an eye. At the same time, the black wooden stick in his hand smashed down towards Li Fan's head. Clang! Bang! The black wooden stick carried a special true chi and actually smashed the black tortoise's defensive sword chi. Li Fan was somewhat surprised. Sure enough, the world produces experts. This Ho family's stick technique was indeed very powerful. Evil cult disciple, die. The skinny man waved his stick and smashed it towards Li Fan's cheek. Open. Li Fan raised his sword and blocked the skinny man's black wooden stick. A special true chi spread out and struck Li Fan's sword, causing Li Fan to slide backwards. Ripple? Li Fan felt the special true chi on the stick. That's right, this is our whole family's ripple true chi. This kind of true chi specializes in breaking defense. The skinny man was very proud as he swept his long stick horizontally again. Great Sage Shattering Mountain. His stick carried ripples of true chi and went straight for Li Fan's head. Black Tortoise. Li Fan compressed his true chi, and a black tortoise pattern appeared on the blade. Li Fan forcibly compressed the sword chi onto a treasured sword, which collided with the whole family's true chi ripples. Clang. This time, both of them took a step back. Li Fan's thumb and forefinger were numb, and the thin man from the whole family was also constantly shaking his right hand. He actually compressed his true chi, so powerful. The thin man of the whole family looked at Li Fan in confusion. Is there such a master in the devil cult? Li Fan had already reserved a portion of his strength. If he displayed the power of a grandmaster, it would be easy for him to be exposed. After all, in the Jianghu, there were very few people who had the strength of a grandmaster. What's more, Murong-ing was here. If he were to accidentally fight with her, his identity would be exposed in an instant. Murong-ing was indeed Murong-ing. She had absolute strength. If possible, Li Fan really didn't want to fight with her at this moment. Interesting. Murong-ing stared at Li Fan. I didn't expect there to be another disciple of the devil cult apart from Li Wei. Li Fan got a little nervous and thought, is Murong-ing going to fight with me? Take over the mountain. The thin man from the Ho family did not give Li Fan a chance to think. He immediately swung his stick and attacked Li Fan. Li Fan humphed coldly and stepped on the ground. The ground beneath his feet trembled, and the thin man from the Ho family lost his balance and almost fell. Li Fan lifted his other leg and kicked him in the chest, sending him flying. You're from the Ho family, you have good stick techniques. It's a pity that you're too weak. Li Fan's sarcasm made the thin man from the Ho family, who had just gotten up, flush with embarrassment. There was nothing more embarrassing than being mocked by the devil cult. Damn it, I don't need you to comment on me. The thin man from the Ho family yelled and leaped up again. His movement technique was relatively light, but his stick was heavy and he struck the top of Li Fan's head. This time, he used all his strength in a bid to kill Li Fan and avenge his humiliation. However, Li Fan did not panic at all and simply watched the thin man from the Ho family approach him. The black wooden stick was in front of his glabella with powerful chi. Break! At this moment, Li Fan pierced the thin man's throat with his sword. The eyes of the thin man from the Ho family were filled with horror and indignation as he watched his stick stop in front of Li Fan. Just a little longer and he would have been able to kill Li Fan. But it was already too late. He could only watch as his throat was pierced and spit out a mouthful of blood. Humph! Li Fan swung his hand and threw his corpse to the side. Who's next? The four great families had directly crippled an expert. This had a huge impact on them. Murong Ing frowned while the old man from the Ma family roared. You devil bastard, you're really ruthless. Let this old man kill you. The old man from the Ma family carried his broadsword and rushed towards Li Fan. Seemingly afraid that something would happen to him, many of the saber-wielders from the Ma family also rushed over in an attempt to kill Li Fan. Vermilion bird! Li Fan let out a long roar and swung his sword horizontally. A huge flaming vermilion bird flew out and spread its sharp wings, cutting through the saber-wielders. More than a dozen saber-wielders were swept by the vermilion bird. Its wings were like steel blades, cutting them in half. Following that, the flames continued to burn their bodies. The lethality of the vermilion bird was really too strong. The power of the four-elephant sword shocked the people from the four great villas. This godly sword is really powerful. Young Master Sima's eyes shone as he looked at the four-elephant sword in Li Fan's hand. What belongs to me is mine. Young Master Sima muttered as if he was deeply attracted by the charm of the four-elephant sword. The opponent is so strong. How did you get the four-elephant sword? Murong Ing finally couldn't help but ridicule young Master Sima. How about young Master Sima personally take action and get the sword back? Cough cough, I am the young master of the Sima family. The Sima family is full of talents. Why would I need to personally take action? Wouldn't that be too embarrassing for the Sima family? Oh, then do you have anyone else to order? Murong Ing looked at young Master Sima with disdain. Why are the majority of the disciples of the righteous sects so arrogant and willful? And Li Fan, who was born as a commoner, was able to bravely chase after them and become an expert of the martial arts world in one leap. Perhaps it was because their lives were too easy. With such a family background, as long as they put in a bit of effort, they should be able to live a good life. I wonder how Li Fan is doing now. Is he living a good life? What's the point of thinking about this? The next time we meet, they will be enemies. Sima Long. Young Master Sima suddenly shouted. A man walked out from behind him. He was dressed in black and had a black scarf wrapped around his neck. He carried two weapons, a short sword and a curved blade. It was unknown what kind of moves he was practicing. Kill that guy and get the godly sword back for me. Chapter 11:23. Yes, young master. The black-scarfed man carried two weapons and walked towards Li Fan. Everyone else, get out of the way. Young Master Sima shouted. He will kill everyone who blocks his way. Young Master Sima, leave this to this old man. The old man from Ma clan raised his large saber and slashed at Li Fan. Although he was only 50 years old, he was still strong and his saber technique was not bad. Li Fan blocked a few of his attacks and felt that the old man's saber technique was nimble and ever-changing. His lower body was very steady, the exact opposite of the skinny Ho clan. This kind of martial art emphasized on steady attacks. Even Li Fan would find it hard to find an opening in a short period of time. But at this moment, Sima Long from Sima clan had already walked to the front. The saintess hurriedly reminded him. Be careful. This Sima Long is the adopted son of Sima clan. His strength is not bad. The saintess seemed to have a good understanding of the martial arts world. It is said that those who have seen him are all dead. Ah, so amazing? Li Fan laughed. Then I really want to see it for myself. Adopted son, so similar to Jiang Feng. But from the looks of it, this brother is much cooler than Jiang Feng. While they were talking, Sima Long had already arrived in front of Li Fan. This old man said, leave him to this old man. The old man from Ma clan seemed to be somewhat unhappy. Just as he was about to chase Sima Long away, Sima Long lifted his leg and kicked the old man. The old man from the Ma family was immediately sent flying by the kick. Sima Long, what are you doing? The old man roared. Mr. Ma, I have already said not to block the way. Young Master Sima smiled. He will settle everything, including those who block the way. Damn it. The old man from Ma clan could not accept this. He was quite angry but did not know where to vent his anger. And Sima Long was already fighting with Li Fan. He raised his short sword and curved saber and suddenly attacked Li Fan. The speed of this person's dagger was as fast as lightning, constantly stabbing at Li Fan's vital points. Li Fan drew his sword and was ready to block, but before his sword was fully displayed, the other party's scimitar had already hooked onto his sword, blocking Li Fan's move. Pooh! Sima Long's sword finally pierced one of Li Fan's acupoints. 9 swords of extreme bliss, 9 swords of extreme bliss. With this strike, Li Fan only felt extremely happy. This was the terrifying part of the 9 swords of bliss. Look, he's just SO. Young Master Sima laughed coldly. Sima Long will deal with him. He is my opponent. Old Man Ma looked at young Master Sima angrily. It's his now. Young Master Sima shrugged his shoulders. He had considerable confidence in Sima Long's strength. Sima Long did not say a word and continued to attack Li Fan. Li Fan extended his hand and used a tiger claw to scratch Sima Long's face. Sima Long took a step back. His mask was torn, revealing a completely unrecognizable face. This man was disfigured? No wonder he wore a mask. What are you dawdling for? Quickly kill him. Young Master Sima seemed to be in a hurry. It was unknown if he was in a hurry to obtain the godly sword or to fight for merit in front of Murong-ing. Sima Long frowned and his attack speed increased. His dagger was like lightning as it stabbed at Li Fan. You are indeed very powerful. Li Fan praised. The sword technique is outstanding, and the blade technique is also amazing. If you train for a few more years, it might be even more effective. But you are too anxious. The moment Li Fan finished speaking, he suddenly spat out a lightning sword from his mouth and pierced through Sima Long's head, flying out from the back of his head. The lightning sword dissipated in the air and soon disappeared without a trace. What? The rest did not see Li Fan's movement clearly. They only saw the back of Sima Long's head explode. The lightning sword's speed was too fast. No one was able to catch it. Saint Lady was also very surprised. What technique is this? Everyone has a little secret. Li Fan pushed Sima Long's corpse away and winked at Saint Lady. Forget it if you don't want to talk. Saint Lady seemed to be a little unhappy, but Li Fan could not be bothered with her. Heavenly Lightning Sword, this was the secret technique that Dragon Lady taught him. Not bad, one-hit kill. When he killed his opponent, he still held back his trump card. Who is next? Li Fan held the 4-elephant sword and asked with a smile. How? Young Master Sima was shocked beyond belief. This was Sima Long. The cold-blooded killer that the Sima family had raised for so many years actually died just like that. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Something must have gone wrong. Go and die. The Ma family's old man had been waiting impatiently for a long time. He replaced Sima Long and appeared beside Li Fan. The long saber in his hand slashed towards Li Fan again. Dang! Li Fan used his treasured sword to deflect the Ma family's old man's saber, but the Ma family's old man was steady and steady. His saber art was superb, and with a flash, the edge of the saber brushed past Li Fan's sword, bringing out red sparks, and stabbed towards Li Fan's cheek. Li Fan, on the other hand, almost subconsciously raised his leg and kicked the old man from the Ma family in the stomach. But Old Man Ma's lower body was very strong, and he forcefully blocked Li Fan's kick. Amazing! Li Fan couldn't help but praise, Your Excellency's moves are indeed outstanding. This old man has trained my lower body for dozens of years. How could it be kicked down by a demon brat like you? But it's a pity that your saber technique is still lacking a little. Li Fan said. Bullshit, this old man's saber technique has been trained hard for many years. What qualifications does a demon brat like you have to say that? Saying that, Old Man Ma's saber drew out a saber flower, and the saber seemed to have turned into 8 or 9 sabers, slashing towards Li Fan. However, Li Fan raised his sword and directly threw out a vermilion bird, causing the Ma family's old man to take a step back. Your weakness is that the power of your saber technique is too light. Saying that, Li Fan suddenly stretched out 3 fingers and pinched Old Man Ma's blade. The old man used his strength to pull twice, but he was unable to pull it out. You can train properly in your next life. Li Fan swept the sword in his hand and cut off Old Man Ma's neck, letting the fresh blood send his head away. Mr. Ma. Everyone started crying, and Murong Ying's expression was extremely solemn. Looks like it's time for me to make a move. Saying that, Murong Ying raised her true chi and slowly walked towards Li Fan. With every step she took, pink cherry blossoms seemed to float in the surroundings. This was all caused by her sword aura, turning illusions into reality. No matter how many times he saw this scene, he would always feel that it was very beautiful and exciting. It was as if he had forgotten how terrifying the cherry blossoms were. Coupled with a beauty like Murong Ying, it was like a beautiful scene. Alliance Master Murong. Li Fan looked at the woman in front of him, and his heart was slightly in a daze. If he could keep looking at her like this, it would be pretty good. That's right, I am indeed Alliance Master Murong. Murong Ying crossed her arms and looked at the man in front of her. Then what about you? When will you admit your identity, little tyrant Li Fan? Chapter 11:24. Murong Ying stared at Li Fan as she crossed her arms and legs and asked. Li Fan's body slowly changed. He then took off his hood and the hem of his robe fluttered in the wind. How did you recognize me? Everyone has their own style of attack. Murong Ying said directly, you are the same. It seems like you really understand me, Murong Ying. Li Fan frowned. To be honest, at this moment he really did not want to start a fight with Murong Ying. Alright, Li Fan, you scum of the pugilistic world, you actually want to protect the devil cult. Young Master Sima suddenly came to his senses and scolded. Scum of the pugilistic world like you, everyone has the right to kill you. Then I'm sorry. Li Fan shrugged his shoulders. I am an escort. The Saintess made a business deal with me and asked me to ensure the safety of the devil cult. To me, business is more important than anything else. Furthermore, how is your 4 great villas any better? Li Fan did not hold back and ridiculed, standing on the side of the holy war plan and mercilessly massacring the people of the pugilistic world. This is the conduct of your 4 great villas. We, the 4 great villas, do not need you to teach us how to do things. Young Master Sima mocked. Who do you think you are? Li Fan suddenly appeared in front of young Master Sima. He stretched out his right hand and grabbed young Master Sima's neck, lifting him up into the air. What are you trying to do? I want you to know who I am. As Li Fan spoke, he tightened his grip. Young Master Sima found it hard to breathe as his face turned red. Bang! Li Fan suddenly raised his sword and swept to the left. The cherry blossom sword chi struck his sword, causing Li Fan to take a step back. At the same time, he let go of young Master Sima. He is a retard, why bother about him? Murong Ying's gaze landed on Li Fan. It is better to care about our battle. Murong Ying, I don't want to fight you. Li Fan was a little tired of fighting. But Murong Ying looked at Li Fan. Between you and me, a victor should have been decided long ago. We do have to decide who's the winner, but not now. Li Fan looked around. There were more and more people from the 4 villas, surrounding Li Fan and company. Surrender yourself to us. Li Fan. Murong Ying looked at Li Fan, her eyes flashing with an unknown light. Li Fan could not see through her mood, nor could he understand her thoughts. The two of them were now in such a state of confrontation, even if they were unwilling. Murong Ying waved her hand and a large amount of cherry blossom sword energy flew towards Li Fan, seemingly wanting to engulf Li Fan. Li Fan stabbed the 4-elephant sword into the ground beside him. He stretched out his hand and pushed forward. True chi surged out and hit the cherry blossoms. However, the cherry blossoms were obviously sharper. They swept over and struck Li Fan's body. Li Fan was sent flying and the cherry blossoms tore his clothes. Li Fan landed back on the ground and the dancing cherry blossoms gathered again, surrounding Li Fan and attacking him. God of War! Li Fan roared and a golden god of war shot out from his body. This giant figure waved his arms and shook off the cherry blossom sword energy. It's useless. Murong Ying stood there with her arms crossed and looked at Li Fan. After being apart for so long, I have improved. My sword energy has been refined to a stronger level. As he spoke, The cherry blossom sword energy began to quickly cut the great war god's body, continuously weakening the body formed by the true energy of the great war god. Li Fan admit defeat. Murong-ing looked at Li Fan and said, "You won't be able to win. There's no need to throw your life away for nothing." Who said that? Li Fan tore off the tattered robe on his body. The great war god continued to shrink, and soon it shrunk into a golden armor, draping over his body. Divine Dragon General. Li Fan had already circulated his true qi to the extreme. He stood there and stretched out his right hand, sending the cherry blossom sword energy flying away. The current Yu has completely stepped into the realm of a grandmaster. Murong-ing looked at Li Fan and sighed. Back then, he was still a rookie, but now he is a grandmaster. This speed of improvement was simply too terrifying. A grandmaster is not the end. Li Fan reminded Murong-ing, above this, there are even more powerful saints. I want to become a saint expert and become #1 in the world. #1 in the world? How can there be so many #1 in the world? Murong-ing's gaze was deep. If you want to become #1 in the world, then the two of us will be enemies. You also want to be #1 in the world? Li Fan smiled. Then you can take it. I will just be #2 in the world. Why are you suddenly so generous? Aren't you my wife? There's no need to be so clear when we are family. Murong-ing's face immediately turned red as her body stiffened. Li Fan, you are still as glib as ever. You are asking for a beating. Murong-ing seemed to be somewhat angry as she slapped towards Li Fan. The cherry blossoms in the sky condensed into a huge palm that slapped down towards Li Fan. Bang! Li Fan extended his hands and supported the huge palm. You have already turned the void into reality to such an extent. Li Fan was somewhat surprised. Murong-ing, you are indeed very strong. As he spoke, he roared as a strong burst of true energy erupted from his hand, shattering the cherry blossom palm. Then he quickly moved towards Murong-ing. Close combat, only then would he have a chance to win. Li Fan's palm quickly slapped towards Murong-ing's forehead. Murong-ing waved her hand as a large number of cherry blossoms swept towards Li Fan. But Li Fan's palm pressure broke through the cherry blossoms and approached Murong-ing. Come at me. Murong-ing stretched out 2 fingers and poked Li Fan's palm. Li Fan's palm was directly penetrated by Murong-ing's fingers. He frowned and ignored the injury on his palm. Instead, he raised his foot and kicked Murong-ing's shoulder. He kicked Murong-ing twice in a row, forcing her to take 3 or 4 steps back. And Li Fan's palm was also dripping with blood as he forcefully sealed it with his true energy. Li Fan, you still need to practice more. A trace of heartache flashed across Murong-ing's eyes, but she quickly suppressed it. Pumph! Li Fan snorted as he immediately closed his pores. His skin turned red as a halo popped out from his back. But at this moment, Murong-ing suddenly stepped on the cherry blossoms and quickly left. Li Fan also used his qinggong and chased after her. But there were constantly cherry blossom sword qi blocking in front of him, which he tore apart with his hands. When Li Fan tore apart all the cherry blossoms, Murong-ing had disappeared. He turned around and saw Murong-ing standing 100 meters away, calmly looking at him. Wife, don't go. Li Fan let out a long roar as smoke appeared under his feet and instantly appeared in front of Murong-ing. Chapter 11:25. This time, Murong-ing did not leave. She stood in front of Li Fan, waiting for him to arrive. Li Fan stretched out his hand, raised his palm, and slapped towards Murong-ing. But in the instant he struck out, the powerful strength in his body was rapidly declining. 10 seconds, in a flash. Murong-ing made use of the time difference and forcefully consumed Li Fan's strengthening. Li Fan, you are still too inexperienced. As Murong-ing spoke, she pointed 2 fingers at Li Fan. A large amount of cherry blossom sword qi engulfed Li Fan's body, sending him flying. The powerful sword qi caused Li Fan to complain incessantly. Even with his true qi protecting his body, he was still heavily injured by Murong-ing's sword qi. But he still stood up once more, and looked at Murong-ing with bright eyes. Wife, I have indeed underestimated you. When I became stronger, You became even stronger. As the successor of Murong Villa, how can I not become stronger? Murong Ing looked at Li Fan. Li Fan, surrender. I will put in a good word for father. It is impossible for me, the little tyrant, to surrender. Li Fan, with your temper, it is too easy for you to suffer losses. I have to laugh at you. Isn't it because I have been with you for a long time? Li Fan and Murong Ing were both stubborn. Are you not surrendering? Only if I die. Li Fan adjusted his breathing, and then swallowed an origin-returning pill, allowing the true qi that he had lost to recover quickly. At the same time, he added a youth-returning pill to ensure that his damaged body would be able to recover. It is best if you do not use the method of closing your pores. Murong Ing reminded Li Fan, it's too damaging to your body. If this goes on, I'm afraid you won't live past 30. Murong Ing kindly reminded him that the way he closed his pores was indeed harmful to his internal organs. Thank you for your concern. Li Fan was unwilling to admit defeat. Wife, let's fight again. Murong Ing didn't refute Li Fan calling her his wife. She just raised her right hand, and the cherry blossoms started to spin. They condensed into a huge sword in her hand. It was more than 3 meters long, and the tip of the sword was pointed at Li Fan. Last chance, Li Fan. Come. Li Fan replied with only one word. Murong Ing suddenly swung her hand, and with a flash of sword light, an invisible sword light slashed down. Cold sweat appeared on Li Fan's forehead. He didn't even see this sword clearly. Beside him, an ancient tree was slowly splitting into two. Murong Ing still showed mercy at the last moment. You are still too soft-hearted. At this moment, a man's voice came from the sky. Li Fan raised his head and saw Murong Bo descending from the sky with Qinggong. Beside him was an old man from Sima family. Looking at his bearing and posture, he seemed to be Sima family's villa master, Sima Hui. These two top experts gathering together was definitely not a good thing. Li Fan, this time you won't be able to escape. Father, let him go. Murong Ing actually begged her father. He was only dragged into this. He must die. Murong Bo reprimanded Murong Ing without any trace of politeness. Useless thing. For a man, you actually fell to this state. This person is your heart devil. Let father get rid of her for you. With that, Murong Bo directly slapped his palm towards Li Fan. Flame palm, this is the ultimate move that he learned from his daughter, but he displayed it even more brilliantly. Murong Bo's palm turned red like a red jade. If Li Fan wanted to fight against him, it would be difficult. Without the Shang Fang sword in his hand, he can't use his trump card, Return Sword. Li Fan's only hope now is to rely on the Heaven Thunder Sword to take Murong Bo by surprise. But at this time, Sima Hui at the side made his move. Both of his hands pressed down on Li Fan. A huge wave of true qi immediately pressed down on Li Fan's body, pushing him down to the ground, creating a crater in the ground. Two grandmasters joining hands to deal with me, this is really despicable. Could it be that these two guys don't have any glory as martial artists? Murong Bo, Sima Hui, you two old dogs are really shameless. Li Fan immediately cursed, but Murong Bo sneered. Little girl from the devil sect, to deal with scum like you, there is no need to use open and above-board methods. Go to hell. This palm directly fell on the top of Li Fan's head. But at this time, Murong Ing suddenly appeared and received Murong Bo's palm. Bang! The two of them collided and then separated. Murong Bo frowned and looked at his daughter. Murong Ing, are you crazy? Don't kill him. Murong Ing begged, I have never begged you before, this is the first time. Fool. Murong Bo blew his beard and glared, but at this time, a sweet breath suddenly floated over and blew on Murong Ying's face. Murong Ying's body softened and she fainted. You've worked hard. Murong Bo nodded at Song Fuya who was standing at the side. Doesn't Villa Master Murong have the spirit needles? Why do you need me to help? That thing is too harmful to my daughter. Unless it's a last resort, it's better not to use it. Murong Bo's gaze fell on Li Fan again. Kid, today is the day you die. But it's a waste of your good skills. Leave it to this old man. With that, Murongbo's palm dispersed the fiery red light and turned into a dark green color. Then he slapped his palm on Li Fan's dantian. A powerful suction came from Murongbo's palm. This was almost the same as Li Fan's Star Luo power. In fact, it was even more ferocious. Li Fan didn't even have time to activate his Star Luo power before the true qi in his body was sucked away by Murongbo. Not only your inner force, but also your mental cultivation method and moves. They all belong to me now. Murongbo laughed heartily, then grabbed a ball of qi in his hand and used Dragon Spitting Pearl move and hit Li Fan's chest. Li Fan was instantly sent flying. He no longer had true qi to protect his body. His chest and lower abdomen were torn into a bloody mess. Murongbo seemed to be intentionally holding back. He looked at Li Fan, who fell far away with a sneer hanging on the corner of his mouth. I want to slowly torture you and crush your bones bit by bit. Only then will I be happy. With that, Murongbo walked towards Li Fan. Then, his body flashed with a golden light. The great war god condensed and grabbed towards Li Fan. But at this time, the flaming vermilion bird flew over and attacked the great war god's palm. It was crushed by the great war god. Unknowingly, the holy maiden hugged Li Fan. At the same time, she held the four elephants sword in one hand and looked at Murongbo with vigilance. Murongbo, I really underestimated you. I didn't expect you to actually instigate Protector Song. It's not instigate, but she abandoned the dark and entered the light. Murongbo sneered, only I will be the future king of the martial arts world. I won't let you do as you wish. The holy maiden took Li Fan and retreated a few steps. You think you can escape? Today's enmity will be repaid. The holy maiden said as she waved the four elephants' sword and chopped the ground, raising a thick layer of dust. Chapter 11:26. Where do you think you're going? Murongbo berated, then raised his palm and sent out a slap. The dust in front was directly dispersed, and the Saintess and Li Fan had already disappeared. Where are they? Murongbo let out a roar. Villa Master, this Saintess is proficient in the secret passage here. I'm afraid she used the dust to escape through the secret passage. Song Fuya cupped her hands and replied. Which secret passage? Murongbo immediately asked. There are as many secret passages here as there are hairs on an ox. From here, there are 9 secret passages, and each secret passage has 9 forks. It's really difficult to catch them. Song Fuya explained. No matter how many there are, we must catch them. Murongbo clenched his fists. Villa Master, that Li Fan has been hit by your soul-sucking hand. I guess he's already a cripple. Why are you so concerned about him? Cut the weeds and pull out the roots. Murongbo's eyes flashed with coldness. Never give Li Fan any chance to turn the tables. Someone, go and search every secret passage for me. Many of Murong's thugs immediately went to search everywhere. Send eldest miss back. Yes. At this time, far away, Jiang Feng stood on the mountain peak, watching everything that happened below. Good third brother, are you going to die just like that? He sighed, this is bad. I was planning to use you to deal with Murongbo. It seems that I have to rely on myself. With that, Jiang Feng turned and left. Li Fan saw Murong Ying standing in front of him, and Murong Ai standing on the other side. The two girls stretched out their hands to him at the same time, as if inviting him. Li Fan was a little hesitant. He took 2 steps in the direction of Murong Ying. Brother-in-law, don't go there. It's very dangerous. Murong Ai hurriedly reminded him. But Li Fan was still hesitating, but Murong Ying's figure suddenly disappeared. Murongbo jumped over from behind and slapped his forehead, smashing his head like a watermelon. No! He could hear Murong's screams of love. Li Fan suddenly opened his eyes and found himself lying on a camp bed. The surroundings were extremely cold, but his body was covered by a white robe. Li Fan turned around and saw that the Saintess was curled up in a corner. She was only wearing a thin layer of clothing and seemed to have fallen asleep. Even when she was sleeping, she still wore a veil. Could it be that the devil cult's saintess also had some kind of ridiculous rule that one had to marry her just by looking at her face? Where is this? Li Fan endured the pain in his head and looked around. He realized that he was in a mud kiln. It was surrounded by mud walls and there were only a few small air vents. There were no windows. The equipment in the mud kiln was simple. Except for a camp bed under him, there was not even a table or a chair. Li Fan slowly lifted the quilt, and a bone-piercing chill hit him. He shuddered and then sneezed loudly. The saintess woke up and looked at Li Fan sitting there. "You're awake." The saintess rubbed her eyes and seemed to be a little sleepy. Li Fan glanced at the gauze and bandages wrapped around his upper body, but it didn't hurt much. "I've applied anesthetic for you. You won't feel pain for the next 2 days." The saintess saw through Li Fan's mind. "But in a few days, you'll probably be in so much pain that you're hovering between life and death. I have a panacea." Li Fan took out his small medicine bottle from his trouser pocket, but found that the bottle containing the rejuvenation pill had been broken, and the pills inside had also been broken into pieces. But it didn't affect the taking. Li Fan picked out the broken porcelain pieces and swallowed the medicine. He felt a warmth in his body, and the injuries on his body were slowly healing. The rejuvenation pill was contained in a plastic bottle, so it wasn't damaged. Li Fan took one out and put it in his mouth. The rejuvenation pill didn't taste sweet, but it had always been effective. Li Fan waited for the rejuvenation pill to produce genuine qi and nourish his dantian. But he was disappointed. The rejuvenation pill didn't have much effect this time. His dantian seemed to be completely dried up. It used to be like a vast ocean, but now it was like a small pond that couldn't hold much water. Li Fan was dumbfounded. His dantian was destroyed? That old dog, Murong Bo, actually caused such a serious injury to him? Not only that, he seemed to have forgotten every move of his 7 heroes' fist. How was this possible? Extracting genuine qi, Li Fan and Imperial concubine Zhou both knew how to do it. But was it possible to directly plunder the opponent's moves? Li Fan's God-connecting meridian had long been integrated, so there was no extra power hidden. This time, it was all sucked away by Murong Bo. Li Fan couldn't believe his eyes, nor could he believe what was happening right now. This kind of thing was simply impossible. It is indeed unimaginable. He actually took away everything from you. The saintess seemed to have the ability to read minds. She had seen through Li Fan's thoughts. It's like a dream. Li Fan's face was gloomy. Am I a cripple? There can be no construction without destruction. The saintess gave Li Fan a look that said he could believe it. Don't forget, you still have the 9 Truths Secrets technique. 9 Truths technique? Li Fan smiled bitterly. I didn't finish your work. Under your obstruction, all the people of the devil cult took the opportunity to move through the tunnel. The saintess said to Li Fan gratefully, You did it, Li Fan. You are indeed a golden escort. Are you mocking me? For you people of the devil cult, I lost everything. Li Fan didn't want to look too disheveled. He took 2 deep breaths and patted his cheeks. Looks like I have to practice again. Although his dantian was damaged, it wasn't completely destroyed. As long as he practiced bit by bit, his martial arts would slowly return. However, this process might take 10 years, 20 years, or even longer. But for a gentleman to take revenge, 10 years is never too late. With the 9 Truths technique, I can help you. I am already like this. What use is there for the 9 Truths technique? If you want to master the 9 Truths technique's martial god true body, you need to wash your bones and marrow and start all over again. What do you mean? Li Fan didn't understand. You will know after you practice. The saintess said, although your martial arts were strong in the past, what you learned was too miscellaneous. Cleaning it up like this will also be beneficial. I can't even use my own moves now. What's so good about it? You are the little tyrant. The saintess suddenly stepped forward and gave Li Fan a slap, waking him up. You can create the 7 heroes fist. Can't you create a better technique? Li Fan's cheeks turned hot from the slap. After being reprimanded by the saintess, he became much more clear-headed. You're right, I was stupid just now. Li Fan shook his head and calmed down. Then, Can you let me see the legendary 9 Truths Secrets art? Chapter 1127. The Saintess agrees as she turns around and takes off her shirt. What do you mean, I don't want to? Li Fan suddenly retracted his words. He saw a row of densely packed small words printed on the Saintess' smooth back. This is the secret of the evil sect, 9 Truths technique. No wonder no one can find it, because it is tattooed on the Saintess' back. Study it well, but don't think about anything else. Hearing the Saintess' reminder, Li Fan bitterly smiles. At this time, how can he have any other thoughts? Li Fan looked at the rows of small words printed on the back of the Saintess. There was a bunch of jerky content recorded on it. Although Li Fan had learned a lot of ancient Chinese in high school, he still felt that it was difficult to understand the words in front of him. This is a scam, how can I understand it? Li Fan wants to curse. Do you understand it? I don't, Li Fan shakes his head and says honestly. I knew you wouldn't understand. The 9 Truths technique is a secret left behind by the ancient people. If you want to learn it, you need time. No matter, we will be living here for a while, you can slowly read and learn until you recover. You and I are considered enemies. Seeing the Saintess putting on her shirt and standing in front of him, Li Fan finally asks. Why did you save me? And treat me so well? Who treats you well? The Saintess snorts, I only owe Lu Zhu a favor. This time, I am returning the favor on his behalf. As expected of my good brother, you can help me at a crucial time. Hearing this, Li Fan is overjoyed, but the Saintess rolls her eyes. In the end, are you still going to receive the grace of my holy sect? That is different. My brother is a good person. Sooner or later, I will make him change his mind and leave the evil sect. The Saintess snorts this time, but does not say anything. Oh right, have you seen a beautiful young lady? Li Fan suddenly thinks of the gluttonous dragon girl. Will she be in danger? Where did all these beautiful girls come from? You are now taking refuge, big brother. Do you still have the mood to think about those things? No. She's my companion. She came with me and disguised herself to enter the underground world. Li Fan quickly explained. Oh, then he should have evacuated with the congregation. The Saintess thought for a moment. In short, you should focus on recuperating and practicing martial arts while you're here. It's useless for you to be anxious about your companion's matter. It won't be too late to look for her after you come out of seclusion. The place our holy church is moving to is very safe. No one will discover it for the time being. All right. Although Li Fan was a little anxious, he had to admit that the Saintess was right. You should first digest what you read today. The Saintess gave Li Fan a suggestion. Practicing martial arts isn't something that can be done in a few days. Be prepared for a long battle. Don't worry, I'll go out and make food every day. Why do I feel like a good wife and mother? Li Fan could not help but want to laugh. You're so talkative. The Saintess knocked on Li Fan's head. Work hard. Wait until I recover my strength, I'll take revenge on you. Now that he couldn't beat the Saintess, he could only obediently let her ridicule him. You rest first. I'll go out and buy something to eat. Not knowing where this underground cave was, Li Fan could only sit on the bed and close his eyes to meditate. The Saintess turned around and opened the cave's secret door before walking out. After she left, the cave seemed to have lost some of its vitality and became much quieter. Li Fan crossed his arms and quietly felt the changes in his dantian while recalling the 9 Truths important technique that he had read. The contents of the 9 Truths important technique were cryptic and hard to understand. Fortunately, it wasn't considered long and only had a total of 9 sentences. Li Fan sat here and tried to comprehend the first sentence. There seemed to be some profound meaning hidden in these sentences. The 9 Truths important technique was not like a secret manual like the 9 Buddha Sutra. It even had a diagram of acupuncture points and moves that explained it very clearly. At first glance, the 9 Truths important technique was very similar to what was said in the Book of Taoism. The Tao can be Tao, but it is not the Tao. The name can be named, but it is not the name. This kind of sentence contained a philosophical meaning. If he wanted to comprehend it, he might really need some time. The 9 sentences, roughly speaking, seem to be describing 9 kinds of existences that existed in this world. The first sentence described a worm. The original text was cryptic, but when translated, it roughly described the strength of a worm. It was like an ant trying to shake a tree, but it was soul-stirring. Li Fan thought of his own strength. Although he was already a grandmaster, compared to the heavens and earth, he was so insignificant. What was the difference between this and an ant trying to shake a tree? And compared to the heavens and earth, what was an ant? Just as Li Fan was sighing with emotion, he suddenly saw a small centipede crawling out from a hole in the wall. The centipede seemed to be very excited. It was as majestic as a general. It climbed onto the table and took a piece of breadcrumb from the table. Then it swaggered off. Li Fan's body suddenly trembled. He seemed to have understood something. The earth was so thick and heavy, but didn't a small insect like the centipede still drill its way out and obtain the strength to survive? The 9 truths important technique described 9 kinds of states: worm, grass, wood, fish, birds, beasts, humans, earth, and heaven. If he wanted to obtain the strongest power, shouldn't he first start comprehending the power of the insect? Only by becoming a good insect would he be able to obtain higher power bit by bit. When he reached the final connecting heaven realm, wouldn't he be invincible in the world? Li Fan suddenly became excited. He grabbed an ant from the ground and threw it into a small glass jar. Then he stared at the ant in a daze. When the saintess returned, she found Li Fan lying in front of the small glass jar, staring at the ant in a daze. He even threw breadcrumbs to feed the ant. She was a little crazy. What's wrong with you? You can't figure it out, so you started to study the ant vigor pill? Shoo, Li Fan made a shushing gesture. Don't talk. Look at it. It's so interesting. And it's so majestic. Majestic my ass, I think you are really crazy. The saintess couldn't help but sigh. It's over. Li Fan still couldn't handle the pressure and went crazy. But Li Fan didn't care about the saintess. For the next few days, he continued to study the ant. In the end, he even dug out a lot of insects and stored them in a bottle. He raised them and placed them in front of him. He looked at them every day. He looked at them when he was eating, and he looked at them before he slept. The saintess felt that he was really crazy and incurable. Little tyrant. The saintess looked at the back view of Li Fan, who was staring at the ant in ecstasy. She couldn't help but sigh. Forget it. This is good too. I will always raise you. Chapter 11:28. I understand now. One night, Li Fan suddenly shouted and jumped out of bed. He punched a hole in the wall next to him. The saintess was taken aback and looked at Li Fan in surprise. A few days ago, he was still in a half-dead state and even walking was difficult for him. But today, he was able to display such power? However, this power was a little strange. It did not look strong, but it was able to create a hole in the wall. It was really incredible. Is he slowly recovering? The holy maiden put on her clothes. The second before she punched the wall, Li Fan had hungrily read the 9 truths essential technique again, as if he was studying the next line. Back then, the sect leader had also read it for a long time and then went into seclusion for a year. When he came out, he had comprehended the heavenly divine technique. It had only been 3 or 4 days, and Li Fan had already gained something? Next, practice hard. Maybe you will recover faster. As soon as the saintess comforted Li Fan, she immediately gave up. Because at this time, Li Fan was lying on the ground with his butt in the air. He was happily staring at a small blade of grass growing out of the corner of the wall. Crazy, he's definitely crazy. The holy maiden could not understand Li Fan's state at all. She simply thought that Li Fan had lost his mind. Maybe after he recovered some of his strength, he would get better. But the holy maiden was disappointed. In the next 2 months, Li Fan was like a madman, doing all kinds of unimaginable things. After staring at the small blade of grass, he would sneak out and stare at the trees outside. Then, in the winter, he would run into the cold river to look at the fish. After that, he would observe the birds in the mountains. Then, it was the beasts that chased after them, making it look like Mount Tai. After that, it was even more frightening. This fellow stared at her every day, and the holy maiden felt as if he could see through her veil. She felt fearful for no reason. You don't need to care about me. Do what you need to do every day. I'm just observing you. Every time she complained to Li Fan, he would say this. The saintess couldn't be bothered with him. She turned to leave, and Li Fan followed her. What are you doing? I want to observe you. I'm going to relieve myself. That's great. I haven't seen what a girl looks like when she pees. Li Fan replied casually and was then beaten up by the saintess. Only then did Li Fan give up on his inconceivable idea. After beating up Li Fan, the saintess was also a little tired. But what made her even more surprised was that when she was beating up Li Fan, his body seemed to be soft and her strength seemed to have been dissolved. This was definitely different from the little tyrant from before. Previously, Li Fan's body was protected by true qi and was as hard as steel. What did he do? Could it be that not only did he lose his mind, but he also went berserk? The holy maiden felt that if this went on, she would be driven crazy by Li Fan first. No, I have to stabilize my mental state. Right now, Li Fan might have returned to the age of a child, and was filled with curiosity towards everything. I have to take care of him patiently. After a period of time, he will slowly recover. Another month passed, and Li Fan seemed to have lost interest in her. He no longer studied her, and instead began to study the ground beneath his feet, observing the mud every day. She did not know why, but the saintess felt a little disappointed. In that incomprehensible brain of Li Fan, what kind of strange thoughts did he have? The saintess could not understand. One day, when Li Fan was playing with the mud in his hand, the saintess hurried back and pulled him. Li Fan, quickly come with me. I made a clay figurine. Li Fan hurriedly grabbed the clay figurine that he had just made. Don't care about the clay figurine, we are in danger. The saintess did not care about the dirt. She pulled Li Fan's muddy hand with one hand and the 4-elephant sword with the other. She dragged him out of the mud kiln. The sky was already dark, and it was still drizzling outside. In the distance, there was a faint light, followed by a rough voice. Someone said that the saintess appeared nearby. She definitely could not have gone far. Quickly chase after her. Damn it, I did not expect that old thief Murong also laid out an inescapable net here. The saintess's voice was filled with resentment. She brought Li Fan and hurriedly walked into the forest. In this area of Guizhou, even in winter, the trees were still green. But in this rainy night, it seemed a little scary. When the light from afar shone, there were layers upon layers of ghostly shadows, very frightening. But the saintess did not care about this, and Li Fan also lowered his head to play with the clay figurine, as if he did not care about what was happening outside. The saintess brought Li Fan all the way through the forest, rushing to the next safe place. At this time, a group of black-clothed people blocked her way. Saintess, don't run, we have already laid out an inescapable net, you have nowhere to hide. Bastard! The saintess looked at the surrounding black-clothed people. They seemed to be experts from the Ma family. One of them was an elder from the Ma family. He wore a mink fur vest, with a dragon head saber hanging on his waist, and he let out a cold laugh. Good, saintess, you ran quite far. The two of you caused the death of our villa master. This debt should be settled today. Li Fan, you stay here, I will protect you. The saintess instructed Li Fan. Then Song Lang pulled out the shining sword, looked around and shouted loudly, the divine sword is here. Let me see who dares to come. Quickly look, doesn't it look like you? Li Fan roughly pinched the clay figurine and shouted excitedly, I even made a veil. Look how interesting it is. This thing is too fun. When it is soft, it is very soft. When it is hard, it can be very hard. The saintess blushed, while the Ma family elder laughed loudly. Haha, this is the little tyrant that shocked the martial world back then? I think he is just a little bastard now. After being crippled of his martial arts by Villa Master Morong, he must have lost his mind, right? Shut up. You lackeys are not qualified to talk about him. The saintess scolded. With the divine sword here, what do you dare to do? The sword is a good sword, it is a pity that the person using it is too useless. The Ma family elder laughed. I can hear the sword crying. Don't worry, I will liberate you now. Brothers, snatch the divine sword, kill the little bastard, then you can do whatever you want with this saintess. On such a rainy day, we are all very hot-tempered. Don't waste this great opportunity, properly vent the anger in your body. As he egged them on, the eyes of the surrounding men all turned red. With someone to kill, there was a woman to play with, why not? The little tyrant was also a famous person in the past, whoever killed him was destined to be famous in the future. And whoever was able to do a blow to the saintess would be awe-inspiring in the martial world. Little bitch, I will let you have a taste of this grandpa's godly spear. A Ma family swordsman already took advantage of the night rain, and the quick blade in his hand caused a raindrop. Chapter 1129. The holy maiden's martial arts were indeed not of a high level, but with the divine sword in her hand, she was quite confident. Looking at the approaching sabermen, she raised her sword. A white tiger suddenly flew out and pounced on the body of the swordsman. It bit his neck to pieces and tore off a large piece of flesh. Seeing this, the other sabermen were slightly afraid. Everyone, don't be afraid. This holy maiden's martial arts are not good enough. She won't be able to release a few decent sword chi. The Ma family elder had good eyesight. Everyone, fight her from the sides. Don't get too close and exhaust her energy. These sabermen immediately began to move around, constantly exhausting the holy maiden's energy. The holy maiden threw out 2 more white tiger sword chi, but after missing, she did not dare to throw out sword chi casually and conserved her energy. But she knew that this was not the way. Murongbo must have sent more people to find them. There would definitely be more reinforcements coming. At that time, it would be even more troublesome. Ignore that woman for now. Attack Li Fan and distract her. Seeing that the holy maiden seemed to be very concerned about Li Fan, the Ma family elder immediately gave a new order. Damn it. The holy maiden wanted to curse. These self-proclaimed righteous people actually did such despicable things. A saberman appeared behind Li Fan and slashed at Li Fan. Scram. The holy maiden turned around and threw out a black tortoise sword chi, dodging the opponent's attack. Don't go near him. Bastards. The holy maiden's strength was still very weak. The black tortoise chi flickered and disappeared. I'm too weak. The holy maiden somewhat hated herself. At the most crucial moment, I can't even protect him. That's right, you're too weak. Weak fellow. The Ma family elder laughed out loud. A woman like you should obediently serve under my crotch. Seeing the holy maiden's crumbling appearance, more sabermen took the opportunity to surround her. But at this moment, the holy maiden suddenly moved. The long sword in her hand brought out an azure light, following which a 3-meter-long azure dragon flew out and circled around the holy maiden, crushing the bodies of the surrounding sabermen. What? The Ma family elder was shocked, and his heart beat wildly. I lied to you, idiot. The saintess sneered. Kill them. Kill this cunning fox. The Ma family's elder felt that he had been played, and he was so angry that he kept stamping his feet. More and more machete men slowly emerged from the surrounding forest. The Ma clan's people were quickly gathering here in order to get the first credit. The saintess struggled for a while, and after a few minutes, she once again showed signs of fatigue. She can't make it. A young Ma family disciple noticed this and immediately cried out. Wait! The Ma family's elders didn't have time to stop her. Several sabermen who rushed forward were torn to shreds by the dragon-shaped sword chi thrown by the saintess. Idiot! The Ma family's elder was extremely angry. You've all been deceived by this vixen. Continue to fight. Consumption will tire her to death. The surrounding bladesmen no longer dared to be rash. Even though the holy daughter showed signs of fatigue, they did not launch an intense attack. This was exactly what the saintess wanted to achieve, but she only wanted to buy some time to think of a countermeasure. "You stupid woman, quickly think of a way," the Saintess was urging him. At this moment, a Saberman suddenly took the risk and charged in, slashing at the back of the Saintess's neck. The Saintess no longer had the time to turn back. She was truly exhausted. But at this moment, Li Fan suddenly stretched out his finger and flicked the tip of the saber. Clang! The saber was directly snapped, and the tip of the Saberman's head flew out. After that, it cut through 7 to 8 trees and was finally embedded in a tree. What? No one saw Li Fan make a move. They only saw that Saberman jumping over, and then his head exploded, and a few trees were snapped. Meanwhile, Li Fan was still squatting on the ground playing with mud. Good chance. The Saintess also didn't notice Li Fan's actions behind her. She saw that the surrounding people were all stunned. Although she didn't know the reason, she still sensed the opportunity. Azure Dragon. She used all her strength to throw out a dragon-shaped sword chi, pushing the people in front of her away. After that, she followed the dragon-shaped sword chi and pulled Li Fan, rushing out of the encirclement. Chase them. The Ma family's elder roared. If they were to escape, where would he put his face? A cunning woman and a piece of trash actually managed to escape from dozens of Ma family's elites. If this was spread out, it would definitely be a great shame. But at this moment, the Saintess suddenly turned around and threw out a jar. What? The Ma family's elder was shocked. Wasn't this the poisonous gas bomb developed by their Ma family? Be careful. Hold your breath. He hurriedly shouted. At this moment, the poisonous gas bomb exploded, and the green poisonous fog quickly dispersed. The Ma family's people hurriedly held their breath, not daring to move. It was a rainy night, and the poisonous fog would disperse in a while. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the Saintess had already escaped with Li Fan. Damn it! The Ma family's elder was so angry that he wanted to kill someone, but now wasn't the time to be angry. Everyone, chase them immediately. Don't hesitate when you see these two people. Kill them without mercy. The night rain didn't stop, and it seemed that it would last for the whole night. And this winter rain lasted for 3 whole days. On the 3rd night, the Saintess took Li Fan and hid in a house. Saintess, don't worry. This place is absolutely safe. You can rest assured and stay here. An old man stood in front of the Saintess and was very respectful to her. My loyalty to Lord Sect Leader can be witnessed by heaven and earth. When you return to Sect Leader's side, please put in a few good words for me. Don't worry, Sect Leader is very satisfied with your loyalty. The Saintess nodded and said to the old man, you also have some status in society, and ordinary people don't dare to casually approach your house. Yes, so Saintess can rest assured. The old man ordered the servants to bring tea and food. Saintess, rest assured and stay here. If you need anything, just tell the servants. But what? Saintess, with your precious body, are you sure you want to live with this kind of person? The old man pointed at Li Fan, who was sitting in the corner. At this time, Li Fan was no longer playing with the mud. He began to look at the sky through the window as if he was suffering from literature syndrome. We are only living together, not sleeping together. The Saintess glared at the old man. He is useful to Sect Leader, so I brought him along. What, do you have something to say? No, Sect Leader definitely has his own intentions. How could I dare to have anything to say? Then I won't disturb your rest anymore. If you need anything, just tell me. The old man seemed to be a little afraid. He lowered his head and walked away. The Saintess let out a sigh of relief, entered the spacious room, and glanced at Li Fan. It should be safe here. You continue to look at the sky. I'm going to take a bath. Chapter 1130. The Saintess was bathing in the bathroom. She was a little tired as she soaked herself in the hot water, unwilling to get up for a long time. In this safe house, she could finally put down her guard and rest in peace. As the hot water soaked her skin, the Saintess closed her eyes. Her mind was filled with Li Fan. This bastard? Why did he go crazy for no reason? A few days ago, he was especially noisy, but today he became depressed again. He stared at the sky, not knowing what he was thinking. This big bastard, but no matter what, I will protect Li Fan. I absolutely cannot let him be in danger, even if I have to risk my life. I originally thought that my life belonged to Lord Sect Leader. Never did I expect that Li Fan would appear out of nowhere. When the Saintess was bathing, Li Fan was still sitting in the house, staring straight at the sky. At this moment, a few figures slowly walked in and surrounded him. Li Fan did not seem to care about any of this, and only focused on the sky. The old man from before stood in the room, looking at Li Fan with a sinister smile. "Little tyrant, you trash, how did you bewitch my sect's Saintess? But it's fine, the holy sect is going downhill now, I have to plan for my future. If I capture you and hand you over to the people from Murong Villa, he should let me live. Saying that sect leader has a use for you, I think it's because the Saintess has taken a fancy to you. What use can a trash like you have for sect leader?" As he spoke, he ordered, "Capture this person." The surrounding experts immediately approached Li Fan, and at this moment, a figure stood up from Li Fan's body. Flying Lion Goddess, Murong Ying. What? The old man was a little surprised, not knowing where a woman came from. Murong Ying raised the lion-faced shield in her hand and sent an expert flying. At the same time, she swept the holy sword in her right hand and beheaded another expert. The Flying Lion Goddess's attack was clean and efficient, without the slightest bit of emotion. After all, she did not have any feelings. Everything she did was driven by Li Fan's subconscious. There's actually an expert protecting him. The old man frowned, but he shot a look at the short man next to him. The man nodded. He took out something that looked like a spear from behind him, stuffed a hidden dart into it, and aimed it at Li Fan. It seemed to be a special long-range weapon. The short man was full of confidence as he fired a shot. Bang! The dart instantly arrived in front of Li Fan, but the Flying Lion Goddess raised her shield and deflected the dart. Poof! The dart hit a person next to him, and that person's body immediately turned into a pool of blood. I didn't hit him. The old man was a little unhappy. "You guys, go restrain that little girl." Several experts hurried to distract Murong Ying, while the short man took the opportunity to aim at Li Fan again and pulled the trigger. Bang! Another dart, like lightning, shot towards Li Fan. The Flying Lion Goddess was entangled by several experts and could not split herself. But at this time, Li Fan, who had been looking up at the sky, suddenly moved. He stretched out his hand and caught the dart in his hand. Then he flicked his hand and the dart flew back to the short man's forehead. The short man directly turned into a pool of blood. The old man was dumbfounded. What situation is this? Didn't they say that Li Fan was already a cripple? Why is he still so strong? Did something go wrong? Or did Murong lie to me? What's going on? The Saintess came out of the bathroom with a bath towel around her. Seeing this scene, she paused for a moment. However, she was an exceptionally intelligent Saintess. She immediately understood what had happened. "You also betrayed the Holy Church." The Saintess looked at the old man with a sinister gaze. "You know what the punishment for betraying the Holy Church is." "I did not betray the Holy Church. I only want to capture this man." The old man was unwilling and pointed at Li Fan. "He is not a member of the Holy Church." "Am I not?" The Saintess pointed at herself. "I am the Saintess, but you disobeyed my orders." Spare me. Considering that I've contributed so much to the Holy Church for so many years." The Saintess hesitated for a moment. She really did not want to execute this old man. The Holy Church was still considered united, especially a meritorious minister like this old man who did not make any substantial mistakes. Killing him would probably cause dissatisfaction in the Holy Church. Giving him a bit of punishment to make him more obedient would be enough. While the Saintess was sentencing, Li Fan appeared beside the old man. He stretched out his hand and 3 fingers pierced through the top of the old man's head. The old man's body instantly began to wither, and in a blink of an eye, he fell to the ground like a dried corpse and shattered. The Saintess cried out in alarm. What's wrong?" Li Fan turned his head to look at the Saintess. His eyes were very pure, as if the one who killed just now was not him but himself. "Nothing," The saintess let out a sigh. Whatever, so be it. In this world, other than the holy church leader, there was no one more important than Li Fan. Li Fan, what's wrong with you? The saintess felt that Li Fan was strange and could not figure out what was going on. Li Fan looked at the sky again and then turned his head. His eyes had regained their spirit. It's nothing, I might have been a little abnormal a few days ago, but I'll be fine in 2 days. Li Fan stretched his waist and then looked at the dried corpse on the ground. This person has bad intentions. I punished him for you, you won't blame me for being meddlesome, right? It's not like you, the saintess was a little surprised. Why, are you unhappy? That's not it. So be it, it's nothing. It's just that the previous you wouldn't have killed so decisively. Wasn't the previous me killed by Murong? Li Fan smiled. Now, no matter who I'm facing, I won't show mercy. That's how it should be. The saintess nodded repeatedly. As long as you can survive, everyone can be your enemy. What about you? Are you also my enemy? Li Fan suddenly asked. The saintess was stunned for a moment, then answered with a smile. If one day I want to hurt you, don't hesitate to kill me. The saintess' words made Li Fan fall silent. Forget it, don't be so philosophical. Li Fan waved his hand. In the past few days, he had experienced a series of storms in his mind and had just recovered a little. Flying Lion Goddess, help me clean up the remaining people, I want to rest for a while. Li Fan waved his hand, and the Flying Lion Goddess who was blocking the door raised her sword and killed the remaining thugs one by one. Chapter 1131. Li Fan lay on the bed and reflected on what he had encountered recently. Recently, his state of mind had indeed changed quite quickly. He had been injured by Murong Bo and Si Mahue together. This time, it could be said to be a fatal injury. All his strength had been taken away. For a martial practitioner, this was even more terrifying than death. However, Li Fan had survived and even comprehended the true essence of the Nine Truths Essence technique. From a bug to the heavens, the world was indeed very mysterious. Li Fan had even entered this state. It was as if he was traveling in another world and did not care about the outside world at all. When he woke up, there was already a powerful force surging in his body. Compared to what he had lost previously, it seemed to be much stronger. The Nine Truths Essence technique was really mysterious. Li Fan soaked in the bathtub and stretched. The water was still warm and had a little fragrance. It seemed that the saint had just soaked in it. Forget it, the two of them had been together for a long time. Even if she was ugly, it did not matter to him. It had been a long time since he had taken a bath. It was still very comfortable to soak like this. After resting, he had to hurry and find the dragon lady. After making his decision, Li Fan lay in the warm water and prepared to have a good sleep. At this moment, there was a knock on the bathroom door. Who is it? Li Fan sensed the aura outside. It was the saint, so he relaxed. It's me. Can I come in? Do you need to go to the toilet? Or do you need to take something? Up to you. Li Fan closed his eyes and enjoyed the warmth of the hot water. Li Fan, let me help you scrub your back. Li Fan was a little surprised. Why was it so sudden? You haven't bathed in a long time, and your back can't be scrubbed. Let me help you. The saint said it very naturally, as if it was just a normal thing. All right. Li Fan did not hesitate. He sat up and showed his back to the saint. Thinking about how the saintess had so calmly let him see her back, he, as a man, had nothing to hesitate about. The saintess picked up the towel and carefully wiped Li Fan's body. At the same time, she kept asking Li Fan about his strength. Speaking of which, I've killed so many people from your cult. Don't you want to kill me? Li Fan casually asked while enjoying the service of the saintess. Didn't you save more saint believers that day? Didn't I kill quite a few today? A bunch of ignorant fools. To think that they would dare to betray me. Fine, I'll just kill them all. The saintess curled her lips. You rascal, how many times do you want me to say it? You keep asking questions like a woman. That's true. Li Fan stretched his neck. I haven't exercised in a long time. From tomorrow onwards, I should exercise more. How did you recover your strength? I didn't even notice. I still have to thank you. The art of 9 truths has taken effect. Li Fan said with a smile, sure enough, it's the wisdom of the ancients. I've learned a lot. What about the 7 heroes' fist? Do you remember? I'm afraid I can't. Every time I recall the 7 heroes' fist, I feel weak. I don't know what kind of evil technique this Murong Bo practices. It can even suck away martial arts. It's really scary. The saintess muttered. It should have sucked away the memory of my muscles and meridians. Li Fan said, when it comes to practicing martial arts, in the end, it will be practiced into the body. Every move and every style is a natural reaction of the body. Murong Bo sucked away my muscle memory. Therefore, if I want to pick up the 7 heroes' fist, it will be much more difficult. But it's not impossible. As long as I train hard like others, I will be able to get it back. After all, it's my own martial arts. I can't just give it away for nothing. Your 7 heroes' fist is indeed very powerful. The main thing is the inheritance. Li Fan said frankly, I just need to sort out the most basic 7 heroes' fist and pass it to my disciples. Next, what I want to do is to create a martial art that is more powerful than the 7 heroes' fist. This is the little overlord. The saintess admired him from the bottom of her heart. In this world, you are the only person I admire besides the sect leader. You keep mentioning the cult master. What kind of person is he? He is older than you, but much more mature than you. He must be an ambitious person, right? Li Fan guessed. When I first met him, he was indeed like that. The saintess recalled, but the current sect leader is not the same. He has restrained his sharpness. I know a person called Liao Ju. He has unparalleled strength in the world, so he wants to be the emperor of the martial arts world. There is also Murong Bo. This old dog thinks his martial arts is powerful, so he runs amok in the martial arts world. He distorts the truth and is fearless. Therefore, when a person is strong, how can he not have ambition? What about you? Do you have ambition? Li Fan answered straightforwardly, my ambition is to become the strongest in the world. In the future, whoever dares to provoke me, I will defeat them. You are still like a child. The saintess could not help but mutter. Is it not a child to be the emperor of the martial arts world? Li Fan laughed. The world has its own rules. Why interfere too much? Your state is really similar to the sect leader. The saintess sighed. If I knew this, I would not have shown you the 9 truths vital technique. The sect leader too, after seeing it, he practiced like an old Taoist. He became a god. He has seen your back? Li Fan's voice seemed a little unhappy. The saintess raised her eyebrows. Are you jealous? How could that be? I'm just curious. Hee, I have never seen it before. There is another 9 truths vital technique in the sect. This one was carved by an old woman who is good at tattooing. There is another one. Yes, it is imprinted on a stone wall. But after we left, that place should have been sealed. In that case, Li Fan nodded, shall we leave tomorrow? You are going to find that little girl? The saintess was very smart and instantly guessed it. Yes, I cannot abandon her. Li Fan seemed to be smiling. That glutton, without me, who can raise her? You seem to like her? How could that be? She is my mentor. I still have to rely on her for many things. So I cannot abandon her. To challenge the 4 Saints' Tower, it would be impossible without the Dragon Lady. Moreover, he was counting on the Dragon Lady by his side. Only then would the government be willing to be his backer. He was still waiting to find Murong for revenge. He could not escape to leave Family Island in such a sorry state. Murong, that old dog, should just wait obediently. But now was not the time for revenge. Murong was very strong. He had to continue to train himself. Right now, the entire pugilistic world should think that he was dead. It was better not to let out any news. But he had to quickly inform Phenomenal Escort Agency to prevent them from doing anything stupid. Wait a minute. Those guys wouldn't have really done something, right? Chapter 1132. Recently, the pugilistic world was somewhat turbulent. Although the plan for the Holy War had not been carried out yet, something big had happened in the pugilistic world that was supposed to be peaceful. The news of Little Tyrant's death quickly spread throughout the pugilistic world. At this moment, Yen Kai had brought more than 10 armed escorts with him as he aggressively charged to the Murong family's front door. Beside him were Xia Yi, Chen Junhua, and Mr. Big Dipper. Xia Yi wasn't supposed to come, but she insisted on personally avenging Li Fan, so she came regardless. Jiang Yi and Li Xiaohu were also rushing back from City Ji. These two beloved disciples were Li Fan's only hope. Yen Kai didn't want anything to happen to them, so he hurried to settle things here before the two returned. Although he couldn't beat Murong, it was good enough to seriously injure him. Yen Kai would fight to the end with someone who dared to kill Li Fan's men, even if he had to sacrifice his life. Mr. Big Dipper, you guys just wait here. I'll go in and have a look at Murong's villa. When he arrived at Murong's villa, Yen Kai couldn't hold it in anymore. Mr. Yen, this is revenge for the escort leader. It's everyone's duty in our escort agency. Although Big Dipper was old, he didn't have any intention of backing down. He stroked his beard, and his eyes were bright. This old bag of bones can at least help the escort leader hit that Murong a few times today. As he spoke, Huang Lei was carrying a 5-shot club and walking out of an old sports car that had just stopped. Lei, what the fuck are you doing here? Yen Kai saw him and immediately scolded, do you fucking know martial arts? Why you here? Whatever. I'll fight that son of a bitch to the death today. As Huang Lei spoke, he carried the 5-shot club and rushed inside. Lei, I support you today. Xia Yi usually liked to hang a sun-like smile on her face, but today her face was gloomy. She turned and instructed an escort beside her, if anything happens to me, let Shueiyue take care of the internal affairs of the escort agency. As she spoke, she carried the charming gentle sword and rushed towards Murong Villa with Huang Lei. Count me in. Qin Juma carried his sword on his back and followed behind them. These guys. Don't steal my head. Yen Kai hurriedly used his qinggong and started running. The group of people scrambled to be the first to enter the Murong Villa. To them, this was the official start of a war. Murong Villa was naturally heavily guarded. When Yen Kai and the others approached, the guards at the entrance noticed them. They are from Phenomenal Escort Agency. One of the thugs recognized them. Don't let them go. Kill them without mercy. One of the leaders shouted. The Villa Master said that we don't have to show any mercy to the people from Phenomenal Escort Agency. Everyone received the order and immediately launched a counterattack. About 30 guards rushed out of Murong Villa and clashed with the Phenomenal Escort Agency's escorts. The Phenomenal Escort Agency's escorts were all well-trained. There were a total of 12 people. Each of them carried a shield in their left hand and a long sword in their right, displaying the shield saber technique to the extreme. Moreover, they formed a line and attacked together while retreating together. Under Mr. Big Dipper's command, they actually killed the Murong Villa guards and made them flee like rats. Good, brothers. Today we will bathe Murong Villa in blood. Yen Kai smashed the head of a Murong Villa guard with a palm strike and tossed his corpse to the side. Everyone, don't be polite. We will make them pay with blood. Everyone shouted in unison. Even Huang Lei shot 5 times in a row and broke the arm of one of the thugs. Jianghu matters could be discussed in the Jianghu. Even the police couldn't control what happened in Murong Villa. Yen Kai had already thrown caution to the wind. Today, he must make Murong Villa pay the price. The group of people had already killed their way into Murong Villa. Those ordinary guards couldn't even withstand a single blow. Even if Yen Kai and the others didn't make a move, just the 12 escorts alone were enough to make them suffer. Kill your way to Murong Villa. Yen Kai's eyes were bloodshot. Right now, he only wanted to flatten Murong Villa and avenge Li Fan. It ends here. Just as the group of people killed their way into Murong Villa's outer courtyard, a man standing in front of the courtyard blocked their way. This man was wearing Murong Villa's overcoat. He was 1.8 meters tall, bald, and skinny. Both his hands were on the hilt of a treasured sword. His eyelids were drooping, and he looked like an otherworldly expert. Scram. Good dogs don't block the way. Yen Kai berated. Hee, a bunch of thieves. Not only did the bald man not dodge, he even sneered. Do you know who I am? I am the Scarlet Bloodsword Demon whose name shook the pugilistic world. The bald man had a proud expression. Back then, I swept through the pugilistic world. If I hadn't met Villa Lord Murong, I'm afraid that reckless juniors like you would have already died under my sword. With that said, he raised his head and opened his eyes completely. From here onwards, no one is allowed to enter. Otherwise, I will kill without mercy. He suddenly pulled out the treasured sword that was stabbed into the ground in front of him and flung it to the side. A scarlet-red sword chi flew out like a crescent moon, directly chopping a tree at the side into two. Do you see this? This is my strength. Before he could finish his words, Yen Kai had already appeared in front of him and sent him flying with a punch. This bald man's body spun 360 degrees before crashing into the wall behind him. Half of his body was smashed inside. So noisy, stinky idiot. Yen Kai scolded and kicked open the courtyard door. Brothers, let's kill our way in. Murong's villa was very big. Along the way, those who obstructed them were all killed by Yen Kai and the other escorts. At this moment, the escorts of the phenomenal escort agency had displayed their extraordinary fighting strength. The hundreds of bodyguards from Murong's villa were actually unable to stop the charge of these 12 people. But at this moment, Murong Ing finally appeared. She stood by the lake and looked at Yen Kai and the others who rushed in front of her. Her eyes were slightly hollow. Yen Kai looked at her and was furious. We respected you so much back then. Now you actually did such a thing. I will send you down to apologize to Li Fan now. Can you defeat me? Murong Ing asked calmly. We'll only know after we fight. Yen Kai shouted to the others. All of you don't make a move. Let Grandpa Dao do it. Just as he finished speaking, Yen Kai had already appeared in front of Murong Ing. At the same time, he sent a palm strike towards Murong Ing. Murong Ing was unmoved. She stretched out her hand and received Yen Kai's palm strike. Their palms collided. Yen Kai possessed the Tai Chi divine skill and continuously dissolved Murong Ying's palm strike. You are still not my opponent. Murong Ying said, only by going back can I live. Once I die, I will have nothing left. Today, Grandpa Dao has no intention of going back alive. Well said. Then let me lend you a hand. While speaking, a man riding a war horse charged out from the side. He swung his saber and slashed towards Murong Ing. Chapter 1133. Old Guan, you're here too. Yen Kai was overjoyed. You're indeed a good brother. If we die, let's die together. I'm not here to die with you. Guan Wenbao shouted, I'm here to avenge my benefactor. Murong Ing wanted to use her right hand to block Guan Wenbao's attack, but at this time, Yen Kai hurriedly stretched out his left hand and placed it on Murong Ying's wrist, forcefully deflecting her palm strike. And Guan Wenbao's broadsword was already at the top of Murong Ying's head. Murong Ying's hands were sealed by Yen Kai. But at this time, a large number of cherry blossoms appeared around Murong Ing. These cherry blossoms swept up and formed a huge sword, about 3 meters long. It directly rose from the ground and deflected Guan Wenbao's broadsword. Then, the cherry blossoms formed a fist and hit Guan Wenbao's body, sending him flying from his warhorse. Guan Wenbao's body somersaulted in the air, and Lisa ran to his body and caught him. So powerful! Guan Wenbao wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. Then he clamped his warhorse tightly, dragged his crescent blade, and charged over once more. However, Murong Ing did not care. She sent out another wave of cherry blossom sword chi, sending Yen Kai flying. You want to avenge yourself with this kind of strength? Although both of them were at the peak of perfection, They were nothing compared to Murong-ing, a grandmaster of this generation. Go back, save your lives, don't make unnecessary sacrifices. Murong-ing reminded again. Don't look down on us. Guan Wenbao and Yan Kai adjusted their rhythm and attacked again. But Qin Junhua and the others didn't intervene. This was a battle that concerned the dignity of those two people. Moreover, they couldn't split themselves into two. More thugs from Murong's villa surrounded them. These people seemed to be elites. Their kung fu was much stronger than the previous guards. Their clothes were also different. The two sides fought fiercely, and it was difficult to determine the victor in a short time. Yan Kai and Guan Wenbao were still fighting Murong-ing with all their might. Yin and Yang, see through the universe. After attacking for a long time without success, Yan Kai suddenly took a step back. Then, he stretched out his hands and slammed them on the ground. The earth trembled slightly, and then a strange force field appeared, instantly pulling Murong-ing, sealing her power. Even the cherry blossoms in the air froze in place. Yan Kai, on the other hand, was drenched in cold sweat. It was obvious that he was having a hard time. Thanks. Guan Wenbao grasped the opportunity and slashed towards Murong-ing with his crescent moon blade that was covered in scarlet flames. But a cherry blossom war god appeared behind Murong-ing. It seemed to be an imitation of the great war god, or perhaps it had cultivated the martial god true body. This cherry blossom war god sent Yan Kai flying with a slap. Then, it spat out cherry blossom sword chi and attacked Guan Wenbao, sending Guan Wenbao flying as well. They haven't even met Murong-bo, but just Murong-ing has already become a huge mountain in front of them. Damn it! Could it be that the two of us are going to stop here? Guan Wenbao was not convinced. How can we admit defeat without avenging Li Fan? Yan Kai clenched his teeth. He was thinking about how to deal with Murong-ing. She is not an opponent that the two of you can face. At this moment, a voice flew out from behind them. Everyone turned around to look and subconsciously felt the hair on their back stand up. A beautiful woman dressed in white, with jet black hair draped over her shoulders and bare feet, was slowly walking over. Wherever this woman passed, Murong's family members felt powerless as if their strength was being sucked out. This beautiful woman was like a withered death god. It was Imperial Concubine Zhou. She had come out of seclusion. You actually dared to kill the man that this concubine likes. You are too much. Imperial Concubine Zhou reached out her hand and grabbed the head of one of Murong's henchmen who was pouncing over. This Murong's henchman was immediately turned into a dried corpse and then thrown to the side. Since you have done such a thing, you should be aware of it, right? Imperial Concubine Zhou, Murong-ing looked at the woman in front of her. Her empty eyes seemed to finally have some fighting spirit. The longer you live, the more boring it becomes. Imperial Concubine Zhou faintly sighed. It was not easy to find some special fun, but it was ruthlessly taken away by you insignificant insects. Bring it on. Murong-ing spread her legs. Her pair of white legs looked very beautiful under the qipao. She reached out her right hand and beckoned Imperial Concubine Zhou. The cherry blossom war god behind her also assumed a fighting stance. Martial god true body? I didn't expect that you also learned this martial art. Imperial Concubine Zhou's gaze fell behind Murong-ing. I thought that only Li Fan knew this. Go. Murong-ing pointed at Imperial Concubine Zhou. The cherry blossom war god behind her grabbed a 6 to 7 meter long huge cherry blossom sword and slashed it down towards Imperial Concubine Zhou's head. Imperial Concubine Zhou did not move. She only reached out her right hand and caught the sword. Clang. The ground of the villa slightly shook, but Imperial Concubine Zhou was not injured at all. She used her own hand to catch the huge cherry blossom sword. Not pure enough. Imperial Concubine Zhou shook her head. This is the power that you created by imitating Li Fan's war god, right? Too embarrassing. Humph. Murong-ing's body suddenly appeared in front of Imperial Concubine Zhou. At the same time, her two fingers stabbed towards the space between Imperial Concubine Zhou's eyebrows. Imperial Concubine Zhou raised her hand to block. Murong-ing immediately retracted her sword fingers and turned to attack Imperial Concubine Zhou's heart. When Imperial Concubine Zhou once again raised her hand to block, Murong-ing once again changed the direction of her attack. Seemingly knowing Imperial Concubine Zhou's power, Murong-ing did not dare to face her head-on. "If you don't dare to face me, how are you going to fight?" Imperial Concubine Zhou looked down at Murong-ing. However, Murong-ying's expression did not change. She quickly wrapped her body with true qi. Her two fingers seemed to be wrapped in golden light as she stabbed towards Imperial Concubine Zhou again. Imperial Concubine Zhou blocked. Murong-ying's sword fingers were bounced off, but Imperial Concubine Zhou's hand also slightly trembled. "Not bad. You found a way to deal with it so quickly." As expected of the current martial arts alliance master. For the first time, Imperial Concubine Zhou praised her enemy. "Bengong somewhat admires you. However, you still have to die." With that, Imperial Concubine Zhou opened her arms. Suddenly, the image of a woman appeared behind her. Behind that woman, there were 3 tails swinging behind her. It was as if she was a fox demon. "After training for so long, your power has only recovered to the state of 3 tails?" Imperial Concubine Zhou sighed. "If Bengong's strength wants to fully recover, I'm afraid it will take time." "This is your martial god's true body?" Seeing the 3 tails fox demon behind Imperial Concubine Zhou, Murong-ying's eyes widened for the first time. "That's right. This is the first time that Bengong has used this kind of power in this era." Imperial Concubine Zhou nodded. "So, you can die happily." Chapter 1134. With that, the demon fox behind Imperial Concubine Zhou waves her hand, creating a gust of wind. Murong-ing uses the Cherry Blossom War God to block in front of her, blocking the demon fox's attack. The gust of wind blows the Cherry Blossom War God away, as if it would collapse at any moment. Murong-ing has also seen Imperial Concubine Zhou's terrifying power. It is indeed very scary, as expected of an undying evil Buddha that has lived for hundreds of years. "Where is Murong Bo? Tell him to come out." While Imperial Concubine Zhou is attacking Murong-ing, she actually still has the strength to speak. Her voice carries a powerful aura. It is overbearing as she interrogates Murong-ing. "Sorry to disappoint you." Murong-ing smiles coldly. "My father is not in the villa." Seeing that Murong-ing still has the strength to speak, Imperial Concubine Zhou is a bit surprised. It seems that this lass in front of her is not simple. "Imperial Concubine Zhou, it is rare to meet an expert like you. Fight with all your strength." Murong-ying's eyes suddenly shine. Imperial Concubine Zhou's strength makes her battle intent very strong. "All right." The two women are fighting with all their might. Imperial Concubine Zhou brings out an even stronger power. She clasps her hands together and pushes forward. The demon fox spits out a ball of black shin qi. It is the size of a basketball. It directly shoots towards Murong-ing. Murong-ing makes the Cherry Blossom War God retract its arms, blocking in front of her. Rumble! The ground heavily trembles. Dust flies everywhere. The Cherry Blossom War God waves its arm, dispersing the dust, revealing its true body. The ground where Murong-ing stood has a 3 to 4 meter wide crater, and the Cherry Blossom War God's arm is still emitting black smoke. It is clear that the attack was not light. "It's my turn." Murong-ing raises both of her hands. The Cherry Blossom War God also raises both of its hands. Grabbing a 10-meter-long huge sword, it slashes towards Imperial Concubine Zhou. The 3 tails of the demon fox lifted up and wrapped around the falling Cherry Blossom greatsword. Bam! At the same time, the fox demon's claws slammed forward, hitting the Cherry Blossom War God's chest. The Cherry Blossom War God and Murong-ying's bodies shook at the same time. Murong-ying's mouth was bleeding. This Imperial Concubine Zhou's strength was a level higher than hers, but her unyielding heart was haunting her. She wanted to defeat Imperial Concubine Zhou. At this moment, Yen Kai and the others were also fighting with the other thugs of Murong Villa. For a moment, Murong Villa was covered with corpses and blood flowed like a river. However, Yen Kai and the others also started to get injured. One of the escorts even had his right leg chopped off. The other escorts protected him in the center. Little girl, you can't do it anymore. Imperial concubine Zhou's mouth hung a smile. Being able to persist until now, you're already very good. Don't underestimate me. The innate qi in Murong Ying's body started to rise, and the cherry blossom war god behind her seemed to have woken up. The cherry blossoms on its body all dispersed, revealing a golden red armor that was filled with cherry blossom patterns. Imperial concubine Zhou was somewhat surprised. At this critical moment, you actually awakened? What had awakened was Murong Ying's martial god true body. At this moment, the martial god behind Murong Ying had already completely formed. It was wearing a beautiful cherry blossom armor, but it did not lose its might. I have to praise you, Imperial concubine Zhou said, but her eyes were emitting a bright light. The demon fox once again opened its mouth, which contained a black innate qi bullet. And the demon fox's 3 tails also stretched out and wrapped around the cherry blossom war god's body, locking both of his arms. It's useless to awaken now. Your time of death has come. Imperial concubine Zhou planned to kill Murong Ying in one go, not giving her a chance to counterattack. And Murong Ying also let out a delicate shout. Following that, a sword condensed in front of the cherry blossom war god, preparing to meet Imperial concubine Zhou's attack. Both of them took out their strongest moves, preparing to decide life and death in one move. But at this moment, a figure suddenly fell from the sky, blocking between the two of them. The two of them had already finished their moves, so they did not have time to stop. Both of their attacks landed on the figure's body. What? Who is it? The two women were simultaneously shocked. Following that, they looked around and saw a figure standing there. His body was still emitting black smoke. To be able to take on the two women's strongest moves head-on, who was this guy? Could it be that Murong had returned? At this moment, everyone was looking at that figure. Very quickly, Yan Kai and the rest were all pleasantly surprised. Murong Ying also opened her eyes wide, but her expression was indescribably relaxed. You women, your temper is really big. Li Fan shook his numb hands. In the future, before your period, remember to drink some moon dew. Junior brother, this is great, you are still alive. Xia Ho stepped forward and hugged Li Fan. She was extremely excited. Murong Ying also seemed to want to hug Li Fan, but she stabilized her body and tightly bit her lips. As long as he was fine, everything was fine. Of course I am still alive. Did you all think that I was dead? Li Fan looked at the brothers in front of him. Murong Mountain Villa released news that you're already dead. Our brothers could not help but come to take revenge for you. At this moment, Yan Kai's eyes were red. Benefactor, you have suffered. Guan Wenbao directly half-knelt in front of Li Fan. As long as you are fine, as long as you are fine, Big Dipper repeatedly sighed. Murong Bo deliberately released fake news to send you all to your deaths. Li Fan had already guessed most of it. This old thief Murong Bo was too evil. Murong Bo, you have painstakingly arranged everything. You should come out now, right? Murong Ying furrowed her brows and looked around. Didn't father say he was out? Why was he lying in ambush at home? Her own father felt more and more unfathomable. Murong Bo, you don't have the guts to come out? Li Fan laughed. That's all, just a coward. Li Fan, you are a little too proud. At this moment, a deep voice sounded from the side. Everyone turned their head and saw a familiar figure, wearing a black and white robe, standing on the top of the attic next to them with his arms crossed, sneering again and again. And behind him stood several experts of the Murong family. Each of them was murderous and held a shotgun in their hands. This shotgun was very familiar to Li Fan. It was the shotgun he had seen in the house of the old man from the devil cult. What was shot out from the shotgun was a poisonous dart. It could turn people into blood and kill people without leaving a trace. Sure enough, this Murong Bo's people had already infiltrated the devil cult. This old dog was really good at scheming. In today's Wuling, he played a big game of chess. Li Fan, I let you live for a period of time. Today, I will let you be completely free. Father, why did you lie to me? Murong Ying's heart was filled with grief and indignation, but Imperial concubine Zhou was happy. You're Murongbo? Good, 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 let me kill you. With that, Imperial concubine Zhou jumped up and leaped toward Murongbo. In the eyes of Imperial concubine Zhou, Murongbo seemed to be a dead man. The war was imminent. Chapter 1135. Murong waved his hand and the gunman behind him immediately fired at Imperial concubine Zhou. More than a dozen poisonous darts flew towards Imperial concubine Zhou. These poisonous darts were specially made. They flew silently in the air and instantly arrived in front of Imperial concubine Zhou. There's poison on them. Li Fan reminded. Sure enough, you care about this Empress. Imperial concubine Zhou seemed very happy and didn't care about the darts that flew close to her. The demon fox's tail swept out and swept away the darts in front of Imperial concubine Zhou. Oh! Murong was a little surprised. He didn't expect Imperial concubine Zhou to act separately from martial god True Body. A group of rascals, don't disturb this Empress and Li Fan's date. Imperial concubine Zhou waved her sleeves at the attic, and the attic immediately began to collapse. As for Murongbo, he crossed his arms and stood there motionlessly. There were still ruins under his feet, supporting his body. The elite thugs behind him were swept away by Imperial concubine Zhou and fell into the distance. Truly a waste. Murong was a little unhappy. He snorted and then his eyes fell on Imperial concubine Zhou. Imperial concubine Zhou already appeared above his head and stretched out her hand. The three-tailed demon fox spat out a black true chi bullet and went straight to Murong. Murong stood there with his arms crossed. Behind him stood the great god of war. This was Li Fan's great god of war. Now, it has been snatched away by Murong. He directly punched the three-tailed demon fox who had gathered the power of the true chi bullet to the limit. Beating tiger! Imperial concubine Zhou's three-tailed demon fox was directly hit and almost collapsed. She was also sent flying and then fell to the ground. She took 3 steps back and finally stabilized her body. What undying evil Buddha, it's just SOS. I am now invincible in the world. Murong was very confident in his current strength. He stretched out a finger and hooked it twice at Imperial concubine Zhou. Come over. Interesting. A smile hung on Imperial concubine Zhou's lips. It's been a long time since I've seen such a stupid person. Let me teach you a lesson, you dog slave. At this time, Li Fan placed his hand on Imperial concubine Zhou's shoulder. Thank you for today, but leave this place to me now. All right. Imperial concubine Zhou nodded. Ben Gong's martial power is incomparably precious. Right now, I'm a bit tired. I'll leave it to you to send this foolish person away. All right. Li Fan happily agreed. Let me meet this old dog Murong. Brat, you're really arrogant. Murong looked down at Li Fan. Speaking of which, you really have the life of a cockroach. After all that, I still couldn't kill you. You've been struggling at death's door for so long, and I don't even know how you learned martial arts. You're still delusional enough to think that you can stop a chariot. Murongbo, I didn't want to settle the score with you like this. But since you're so impatient, I'll accompany you to have some fun. When you're in your heyday, I don't care. Murongbo sneered. Not to mention, the current you has lost all your moves. What else can you do? With that, he stretched out his palm and pressed it on the ground. Dragon King Seal. This was also Li Fan's proud move. A huge palm print immediately appeared on the ground. But Li Fan stood there with his arms crossed, motionless. He crossed his arms, and his body burned with golden true chi. Relying on this powerful true chi, he protected his body. You're right. The current me indeed doesn't have any moves. Time is really too short. I haven't had the time to create my own new move. However, this won't stop me from hitting you. When I hit you, I'll naturally think of how to make my move. Big mouth guy, you're going to stop here, Murongbo said. The war god behind him stretched out his hands and gathered a powerful true chi in his palms. I'll use your ultimate move to kill you. 7 Brilliance Absolute Kill, 10 Great Wisdom King. The air trembled. The war god suddenly pushed his hands forward and released a powerful energy. This huge force pressed down, as if it was going to destroy the space in front of it. At this time, a golden martial god appeared behind Li Fan. Murong-ing was taken aback. This is one of her incarnations, the Flying Lion Goddess. The current Flying Lion Goddess is 3 to 4 meters tall. Her left hand is holding a lion face battle shield and her right hand is holding a holy sword. She picked up the battle shield and blocked in front of Li Fan. Bang! The battle shield fell heavily on the ground, and the shield plate sunk deeply into the soil. Murong-bo's attack landed heavily on the shield, causing it to move back a distance. Like a plowed field, a pit was drawn on the ground. What? Murong-bo finally had a surprised look. You've actually recovered your martial god true body? Murong-bo looked at the martial god true body and faintly felt that it looked like her daughter. Before I practice the move, I can only use a more violent attack method. Li Fan stretched out his right hand and stretched it to the side. The Flying Lion Goddess also raised her holy sword. A golden light flashed, and the holy sword changed its form, turning into a golden hunting rifle. Li Fan's right hand made the shape of a pistol and fired at Murong-bo. Bang! The Flying Lion Goddess muzzle spat out an energy bullet, which instantly hit the front of Murong-bo. The war god automatically protected his master and stretched out his arms to block the bullet. The golden light exploded on the war god's body, and Murong-bo's body also took a step back. Such dense inner strength. Murong-bo was a little surprised. In just a few short months, how could you recover to such a level? It is all thanks to you, Murong-bo. Li Fan smiled. You allowed me to comprehend a deeper level of power. Martial god true body? What kind of new power is this? No, the martial god true body is just a kind of profound martial skill. Li Fan pointed at the Flying Lion Goddess behind him. Every martial artist, when they circulate their true chi to the highest state, they can cultivate this martial god true body. However, after this period of time, I realized that true chi is not the final state of a martial artist. There are all kinds of energy, magic, true chi, and superpower are just one of them. But the density of true chi is not pure enough. What do you mean? Murong-bo frowned. He felt that something was wrong. True chi is a kind of energy in the human body, but everything in the world has energy. Flowers, birds, fish, insects, birds, and beasts. To be able to use these powers to cultivate, it is the most complete energy that surpasses true chi. Li Fan opened his palm, and a ball of blue true chi condensed above his palm. A huge blue ball appeared above his head, with a diameter of more than 1 meter, and kept rotating. This blue light was faintly mixed with gold. If I were to use an example, this is the true chi that I used to cultivate, and its ability is about this strong. Murong-bo coldly snorted and also extended his hand. A ball of golden true chi with a diameter of 3 to 4 meters appeared above his palm. That's right, it looks like you are stronger. Li Fan smiled. Chapter 1136. It looks like you are stronger. Li Fan had a smile on his face. The blue true energy ball above his palm continued to compress and quickly changed its color, turning into a ball of white energy. Moreover, its size was also rapidly condensing. Soon, a white ball appeared. It was about the size of a table tennis ball, but the energy contained within it made Murong-bo constantly apprehensive. Even Imperial concubine Zhou felt a strong sense of oppression, making her faintly uneasy. You see, my strength in the past, if I were to describe it in terms of true energy, it would be around 15 dragons. But Murong-bo, you have absorbed my previous energy. Adding your own, it is 3 times as much as mine, about 40 dragons. This strength is already very strong. Li Fan raised his right hand, indicating the small white ball in his palm. And this ball can be said to be the evolution of true energy, vitality. This kind of energy is purer and closer to nature. Although the scale is very small at that time, a friend of mine told me that the so-called strength of one dragon in our martial arts family is simply nonsense. At that time, I thought she was just bluffing me, but now I understand the meaning of her words. If I were to describe it, my current strength is probably the strength of a true dragon. What nonsense are you talking about? I am the one who stands at the peak of martial arts. Murong Bo did not acknowledge Li Fan's words. Our Murong family practices the martial god's secret art. I, Murong Bo, am the current generation's martial god. And you, Li Fan, are just a stepping stone for me. With that, Murong Bo's martial god's secret art released a ball of chi bead, which went straight to Li Fan. It doesn't make sense. Li Fan sighed. He put his hands in his pocket. The flying lion goddess behind him pushed the lion face shield, flicking away the ball of chi bead. The chi bead flew to a house in the distance and blew up the two-story building, leaving nothing behind. Since you don't understand, I will teach you with my fist. Li Fan clenched his right hand into a fist. Martial God True Body, second level. The winged lion goddess behind him immediately dispersed and turned into pieces of golden winged lion armor that covered Li Fan's body. Soon, Li Fan's entire body was wrapped in golden armor, with a lion-faced helmet on his head, looking extremely majestic. Second level? Murong Bo's frown deepened. Yeah, this is different from when I fused with the flying lion goddess. This is the true way to use the martial god True Body. Nonsense. Shut your mouth forever. The great god of war behind Murong Bo punched repeatedly in the direction of Li Fan. Although it was just a punch, the powerful fist aura all landed on the ground. Boom boom boom. Craters appeared on the ground. Soon, dust flew high into the air and engulfed Li Fan's body. In the next second, the smoke was penetrated, and Li Fan's figure instantly appeared in front of him. Covered in golden armor, he looked like a valiant martial god of war. You. Before Murong Bo could finish his words, Li Fan's fist had already landed heavily on his chin. Bang. Murong Bo's body flew out and spun a few rounds in the air before crashing into a house behind him. Boom. The entire villa was crushed by the sudden force. This is my current strength. Li Fan's fist was still emitting white smoke. How is it? Comfortable? Bang. The great god of war stood up and pushed away the gravel on his body. Murong Bo stood up with a slightly red face, but it wasn't a big injury. Murong Bo spat out a mouthful of blood and looked at Li Fan. Li Fan, I really underestimated you. I didn't expect that not only did you not die, you even comprehended such strength. If I absorb your essence chi, I will still be #1 in the world. The evil technique you practice is indeed amazing, but this time, it's not necessarily the case. Heh, you will know after you try. Murong Bo's feet shot out and instantly arrived in front of Li Fan. Then he slapped Li Fan's chest. But Murong Bo's palm hit heavily. Then, his palm was like a black hole, sucking Li Fan's body. Hand over your strength. It's all mine. Murong Bo laughed greedily. Li Fan, on the other hand, folded his arms and let Murong Bo use his evil technique to extract his power. At first, Murong Bo's face was filled with joy, but very quickly, the joy disappeared and was replaced with fear. How is this possible? Your martial god law can absorb other people's true chi, but did you forget that what I practice is not true chi but essence chi? Li Fan's body was surrounded by a layer of golden brilliance. Damn it. Murong Bo's flame palm went straight to the center of Li Fan's eyebrows. Since he can't absorb it, he must quickly get rid of this enemy, Li Fan. His potential is immeasurable, he must not be left alive. But at this time, Li Fan's knee hit Murong Bo's lower abdomen even faster. Murong Bo is after all a martial arts expert. He has practiced martial arts for a lifetime. He turned his palm and slapped Li Fan's knee from the side. Then he followed up with another palm, going straight to Li Fan's chest. Li Fan's body gently leaned to the side. Both hands grabbed Murong Bo's wrist, pulling him out, trying to make Murong Bo lose his balance. Murong Bo's martial arts are excellent. His horse stance is stable. Li Fan's pull did not bring him out. At the same time, Murong Bo turned around and strangled Li Fan's neck. Li Fan stretched out his right hand and grabbed Murong Bo's wrist. Murong Bo's other hand slapped at Li Fan again. Li Fan met it with a palm. The two of them collided, and a powerful force spread out. The surrounding houses and the ground were all lifted up. Murong Bo swept his leg again, a chasing deer, with lightning, and stabbed at Li Fan's face. But Li Fan also followed with a kick, and the two men's calves also collided. The two of them seemed to be equal in strength. At this time, Li Fan suddenly opened his mouth and spat out a heavenly thunder sword, instantly piercing between Murong Bo's eyebrows. This heavenly thunder sword was the ultimate technique that Dragon Lady passed on to Li Fan. It was not a martial technique, but a divine technique, so he kept it. It was also the only technique that Li Fan still knew. However, he wanted to use this only technique to kill Murong Bo in one strike. Li Fan had already calculated it, but at this time, Murong Bo suddenly attacked. The cherry blossom war god held his sword and slashed down, hitting the heavenly thunder sword and shattering it. Murong Bo was struggling at death's door. While Li Fan was distracted, he took out his palm and slapped it on Li Fan's chest. Bang! Li Fan took 2 steps back after being hit, stabilized his body, and looked at the pale girl in front of him. Li Fan looked at Murong. You disappoint me, I'm sorry. This was the first time Murong was so flustered. Is my father after all? Chapter 1137. Li Fan smiled bitterly. Luckily, his helmet was covering his face. No one could see his current sorry state. The corner of his mouth tasted sweet and fishy. It was not a pleasant smell. You are indeed the daughter of the Murong family. Murong Bo was overjoyed. Come, kill him for father. Murong Bo didn't dare to be confident that he could kill Li Fan after exchanging palms with Li Fan for a long time and consuming their internal energy. But with Murong Ying's help, it would not be a problem. They must kill Li Fan. This person could not be left alive. Who dares? Imperial concubine Zhou was furious. Murong Bo's family was too despicable. Stop her! Murong Bo roared. A group of men dressed in black appeared on the rooftops of the villa. They were all death warriors trained by the black market merchant. These people disregarded everything and rushed towards Imperial concubine Zhou and the rest. Imperial concubine Zhou and Yan Kai tried to rush out of the range of these people to help Li Fan. But there were too many death warriors. Every one of them was not afraid of death. They fought with their lives on the line. For a moment they were stopped. Damn it! The demon fox behind Imperial concubine Zhou kept killing the death warriors in front of her. She was an undead evil god, but she was stopped here. This was a great humiliation. Yan Kai and Guan Wenbao were very anxious. Li Fan was there. They could not let anything happen to him. Murong Ying stood there and did not move. Murong Bo was furious. He stared at his beloved daughter. Her character was too similar to his younger self. Back then, he had almost given up everything for the sake of the woman he loved. It was only when he nearly lost his life that he was enlightened and came to a realization. In this world, other than himself, no one was more important and worthy of trust. He had to become stronger so that no one would dare to betray him. Murong's eyes were red, and she had already arrived in front of Li Fan. A Bear King seal went straight for the center of Li Fan's eyebrows. Li Fan wanted to fight back, but he was still affected by the palm strike. The second stage of martial god was also a double-edged sword. Although one's strength increased, one's essence energy was also depleted rapidly. His body stiffened slightly. He didn't even have time to make a move. At this moment, a petite figure appeared in front of Li Fan. Murong Bo was shocked. At the last moment, he had withdrawn most of his power. However, this palm still landed solidly on the figure's shoulder. Bang! A soft body crashed into Li Fan's arms, and he hugged her tightly. Shai. Li Fan looked at Murong, who was lying in his arms, and his heart almost stopped. Daughter. Shao Ai. Murong Bo and Murong Ying were also frightened. The two of them moved forward, but were forced back by imperial concubine Zhou. Imperial concubine Zhou's demon fox spat out a ball of true qi, which hit the ground. The two of them retreated in panic. Xiao, AI, quickly circulate your qi and heal your injuries. Li Fan didn't have any more rejuvenation pills on him. He placed his palm on Murong's back and healed the clotted blood in her internal organs. Brother-in-law, don't be afraid. I can't bear to die. Murong coughed out 2 mouthfuls of blood and said weakly, You silly girl, why did you run out? When did I need you to save me? Idiot. Li Fan wanted to scold her, but he was reluctant to do so. Oh no. I just ran out like that. Murong wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth. If I bleed, I will definitely become ugly. Brother-in-law will hate me. No, you are the prettiest. Li Fan comforted Murong. Don't talk, quickly circulate your qi and heal your injuries. Li Fan, let go of my daughter. Murong Bo's eyes had turned completely red as he roared again and again. For him, his 2 daughters were his reverse scale. Murong Bo waved his hand, and the war god behind him condensed a powerful true qi, which gathered into a huge qi pearl. Otherwise, I will kill all of you. Kill me. Murong AI coldly looked at her father. Kill me too. Daughter. What are you saying? How can father bear to touch a single hair of yours? Murong Bo hurriedly said. He looked at his little daughter's eyes with infinite gentleness. Good. Come back, don't learn from your sister. Don't be soft-hearted to outsiders. I have been with brother-in-law day and night, he is no longer an outsider. Murong AI let Li Fan support her as she slowly stood up and looked at her father. Don't talk nonsense, we are a family. Dad is doing this for your own good. Come back. I have had enough. My sister and I have lived with brother-in-law for so long, our feelings are so deep. But you, because of your ambition, you will change your face at any time, and then harm brother-in-law, forcing us to separate. Murong AI was not afraid at all. She finally took off her cute mask in front of everyone, and took out the attitude of a little witch. How do you love me and my sister? You keep saying it is for our good, but in fact, isn't it for yourself? I have had enough, I don't want to live like this anymore. From today onwards, I, Murong AI, draw a line with Murong family. Murong Bo, you are no longer my father. Murong Ing, you are no longer my sister. You guys, just pretend that you don't have a family like me. What are you saying? Murong Bo's heart was filled with fear. The truth. Murong AI's eyes were firm. That's it, I have made up my mind. From now on, whatever happens to Murong family has nothing to do with me. I, Murong AI, will live and die with brother-in-law Li Fan. If brother-in-law lives, I will live. If brother-in-law dies, I will die. With that, she held Li Fan's hand tightly and stood beside him. Crazy. Crazy, all crazy. At that moment, Murong Bo seemed to have aged a few decades. His originally black hair actually had white strands. Really crazy. Murong AI, stop it. I will give you one last chance. Come back immediately. Murong Ing reprimanded her sister. Murong Ing, I am also very disappointed in you. Murong AI looked at her sister with some mockery in her eyes. Since childhood, I have always admired you, thinking that you can always do things that I can't do. In the end, I was even a little jealous and wanted everything that you have, including your martial arts, status, and even the person that you like. She glanced at Li Fan. This man, doesn't he already have your heart? Is it really so difficult to do something for him? Can't you be like me, and then love bravely? You are still young, so your mouth is full of love. Murong Ing looked at her sister, but her eyes were full of sadness. I am the heir of the villa. It is not so easy to be the master of the world's #1 villa. She withdrew her eyes and became cold. Love will be willful, but love is responsibility. Murong AI, do whatever you want to do. From now on, you and I are no longer sisters. She waved 2 fingers, and the sword energy drew a ravine on the ground. With this as the boundary, we are even. Chapter 1138. Why are you still here? Murong Ing scolded Li Fan and the others. Let's go. Li Fan looked at Murong Ing a few more times. He waved his hand and left the villa with the people of Phenomenal Escort Agency. Murong Bo didn't even have the strength to speak. He stood there dejectedly, looking very sad. Murong Ing stood in the wind, her hair dancing in the wind. A spring snow was falling slowly. It seemed that it was almost the new year. Murong and the Li family had a great battle, and both sides had suffered great losses. The news spread quickly in the martial arts world. Luo Shuo, who was far away on the snow-capped mountain, heaved a long sigh of relief when she heard the news. Great. He's still alive. For a moment, the martial arts world, which was struggling at death's door, changed. The Holy War almost swept the entire martial arts world. All the reputable sects either surrendered to the four villas and became the government's dogs. Otherwise, they would be slaughtered to the last man, and not even the chickens and dogs would be spared. Some sects lived in seclusion in the mountains, avoiding the world and living in fear. It didn't mean that everything would be fine if they surrendered to the four villas. These sects were all forced to take the energy-dispersing pill. The energy-dispersing pill was made by Song Fuya. It was specially used to disperse the energy in the dantian of martial fighters. Although it couldn't be achieved overnight, as long as one took it continuously for more than a month, the energy in one's body would disperse, and the dantian would wither. Even if one wanted to practice martial arts, he could only practice to the point of perfection. It was impossible to improve further. That wasn't all. The government issued a ban on martial arts. From then on, no one in the martial arts world was allowed to use martial arts without the government's permission. Anyone who resorted to violence would immediately have their limbs crippled and thrown into the death cell. The former embroidered uniform guard was disbanded, and the commander's whereabouts were unknown. Sima Hui, the master of the Sima family, became the new commander. He established the supervision organization of the martial arts world, the Imperial Guard. The Imperial Guard's job was to uphold the rules of the martial arts world issued by the government and hunt down disobedient martial fighters. The four major alliances began to go into exile, and the Xidagarba Tombkeeper was completely destroyed. The White Tiger clan of the Central Plains served the Murong Villa and became the government's lackeys, merging into the Imperial Army. The remaining Whistling West Wind and Laughing Breeze leaning on the sword had already disappeared, hiding from the royal army's pursuit. At the same time, they were secretly resisting the royal army's dark rule. Rather than saying it was the royal guards, it was more like Murong Bo's dark rule. Murong's family was the biggest winner of this catastrophe. The escort agencies had also suffered a severe blow, and many of them were forced to disband. The four major escort agencies and 8 smaller escort agencies had all survived, but the experts in the escort agencies had no choice but to take the energy-dispersing pill. Their power had plummeted, and their strength was far from what it used to be. There were also some escort agencies that hid in the dark and sought refuge with the king of the underworld, the Phoenix King. They retained a certain amount of strength, but in the future, they could only hide their heads and show their tails as escorts. Li Fan's Primo Escort Agency had also suffered a blow. Fortunately, he had established the agency as a logistics company, organized a strong transportation network, and had the support of the government. Therefore, his escort agency's strength was completely preserved. Many escorts also came to seek refuge with Li Fan. Even Jin Zhou of the Jin Family Escort Agency had sought out Li Fan to cooperate, hiding under the wings of Primo Escort Agency. At this point, the darkest period of the martial arts world had arrived. The Chinese martial arts world only existed in name. Li Sen, what are you doing here? In the military region where the 12 sacred beasts were, the general saw a thin middle-aged official slowly walking out of a jeep and immediately questioned him. This is my territory. It's not your place to act presumptuously. Major General Ran, how can you say that? The official named Li Sen looked at the Major General in front of him with a smile. This is a place to protect the country. How did it become your territory, Major General Ran Mingran? I'm the person in charge here. The general folded his hands and looked at the official who was one rank higher than him. No matter how high your rank is, I have the final say here. Go back. I still have military affairs to attend to. I don't have time to entertain you. I'm here for inspection. This is the number of the military region's commander. Li Xin dialed the number and handed it to the general. The guard took the phone and placed it beside the general's ear. Someone on the phone said something and the general's expression turned ugly. Finally, he gave a military salute to the phone. Yes, I will complete the mission. Great. It seems that you understand. Li Xin looked a little happy. I heard that the new Shangfang sword has been selected. Can you take me to have a look? He's out on a mission. He's not here. The general curled his lips. Hurry up and take a look. Then get lost. Major General Rand's temper is still as bad as ever. I'm already being polite. The general looked coldly at the official in front of him. The holy war plan that you advocated has destroyed thousands of years of Chinese civilization. Li Xin, I really didn't expect that a secretary like you could do such a thing. You're really good. I'm no longer a secretary. Li Xin kept a smile on his face. Also, the so-called civilization is an existence that threatens our rule. Getting rid of them will greatly benefit the stability of society. Major General Ran, you should actually thank me. After all, I've helped you accomplish what you couldn't do. And you're welcome. You'll suffer retribution. The general cursed fiercely. I'm an atheist. Li Xin didn't care about the general's curse. I'm just doing what I should do. You're just licking the U.S. Emperor's boots? I like to call it cooperation. Li Xin smiled at the general. I'm really happy for you. You were born into a family of the founding fathers. And you're welcome. The general sent these words back to him. Just wait and see. You'll understand my great achievements. Li Xin walked into the underground base under the accompaniment of the general. At this time, G University. Hide the bow when the birds are done, cook the dogs when the hares are done. I didn't believe this before, but today, I'm completely convinced. Li Fan sat in his apartment and chatted with Bai Lin Luo through the video call. Like I said, the government will have this trick sooner or later. However, Li Island is doing well now. The construction minister from Japan is doing well. You can come back and take a look when you're free. Bai Lin Luo pushed his glasses. Compared to these, I'm more worried about Demon Island. N. Li Fan looked at the CT4 English book in his hand and asked Bai Lin Luo. What happened? I thought Demon Island couldn't be found at all? It seems to be the influence left by the prophet. Sometimes, I can sense the mutants around me. So that's how it is. Li Fan thought for a moment. The domestic affairs are still very troublesome. I don't want those guys on Demon Island to awaken. I'll help you keep an eye on things here. Congratulations, your dojo is about to open, right? Yes, it's this afternoon. I'll go there in a while. Li Fan put down the CET4 book. After all, I still have to take the CET4 exam in the morning. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.